everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the Ethical Formulator Summit. It's so good to have everyone here. Please let me know if you can join me from Instagram, if you can hear me rather from Instagram, from Facebook, um, from YouTube. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you. Let me know. So, you can watch this on Instagram. You can watch it on Facebook. You can also join on YouTube. But I find that you'll get a better will I say you'll find you'll get better visuals with on YouTube than Instagram and Facebook. And also with Instagram, I find that live streaming cuts off after 1 hour, and this might extend past 1 hour. So please, if this goes off on Instagram, feel free to join on the other social media platforms, either Facebook or YouTube. So a mail was sent to you. You can check your email for the links to the social media platforms. However, if you didn't get the mail, you can either check our Telegram channel or WhatsApp channel. And if you're not on any of these channels, I have it all over my Instagram stories. So you can also look through the Instagram stories to see the links to the external platforms. That's the YouTube and Facebook. Okay, so welcome again to the Ethical Formulators Virtual Summit. It's so good to have you here. This summit has been long overdue. I'm so excited that we're finally doing this. This was made we had to do this to foster ethical practices in the African cosmetic industry. With the rise of indie brands, we find that there's a lot of unethical practices going on, a lot of misinformation, a lot of myths. And so we had to put this together to ensure that we pass the right information to people. So again, please, if you are on YouTube, feel free to drop a comment. If you're on Instagram and you can hear us well, before we start, I'll just give it like 2 more minutes before I go into the topic of the day for my session. So let me know if you can hear me from YouTube, please. If you're watching from YouTube, let me know if you can hear me. Um, if you're watching from Instagram, let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. If you're watching from Facebook, let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you, Olua Tomiwa. I can see she says she can hear me. Okay, thank you so much. So we'll just begin. So today I want to talk about formulating to suit the delicate baby's skin, right? Okay, I can hear you. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Kyle. Thank you so much for joining this session. Now, if you haven't met me before, for those who are wondering, who is Somi and who is this lady? I'm a plant biologist and biotechnologist. I've been formulating cosmetic formulation for 10 years. I'm 10 years a I've been formulating cosmetic products for 10 years. I'm 10 years a cosmetic scientist, 8 years a tutor. I've been teaching people how to formulate personal care products for 8 years. I'm also the author and curriculum developer at Somi's World's Cosmetic Formulation Hub and consultant for top indie brands. Now, why should you listen to me? I've helped thousands of cosmetic formulators kickstart their formulation journey and hone their existing formulation skills to start up thriving indie brands. So I can categorically tell you that whatever issue you might be having in terms of cosmetic formulation, I've gone through it before. And so I can help you. Now let's go into the topic for the day. Here's what you're going to learn in this class. You're going to learn about the structural differences between a baby and adult skin, how the anatomy of an infant's skin influences the conventional baby care practice, and how to choose ingredients for your baby care formulations. So let's get started. So basically, I'm not going to go into the whole anatomy and physiology of the skin. However, one thing I always say is that as a cosmetic formulator, you must ensure that you know the substrate you're formulating for. The only reason why I find that people still make mistakes or people still just do whatever things as their spirit leads is that they haven't taken time to study the substrate they are formulating for. So when it comes to baby skincare, you have to understand how baby skin differ from adult skin. That way, when you're formulating baby care products, you know the exact thing to do, right? Now, when it comes to normal adult skin, we have a thick, the topmost layer of the skin, the stratum corneum, is thick. It's there to protect the skin from the skin is the largest organ of the body. It's there to protect us from the external different things, harsh pollutants and all of that. So our skin is resilient, right? This stratum corneum is resilient. However, in baby skin, this stratum corneum, the epidermis is 5 times thinner, right? So what an adult skin can take, a baby skin may not be able to take that. You know, the kind of what an adult skin can weather, a baby skin may not be able to go through that. Also, in the cells of the adult skin is larger. In baby skin is smaller, so they have faster cell turnover, and that's why you find that when a young person gets injured or when a child gets a wound, it's very easy for the skin to heal itself as opposed to an adult. Right now, for pH, the pH of adult skin is slightly lower. So that acid mantle has been put in place to protect our skin, support the skin's microbiome, to fight against mic- um, um, to fight against bad microorganisms. Now, when a baby is born, the pH of their skin is higher at birth, and so it means that acid mantle isn't present, isn't working as it ought to do when a baby is born. So it's higher at birth. However, over time it drops. Now, in natural moisturizing factor, that's the lipids and all of that, the hydrolipidic film that is there to protect our skin and keep our skin moisturized is higher in normal adult skin. However, in baby skin, it is lower. And then transepidermal water loss, it is lower in adult skin, higher in baby skin. Melanin, normal melanin production in adult skin, and in baby skin, lower melanin production. And that's why you find that you give birth to a child, the child is very light. And then one year later, mothers come complain that, oh, my child is getting darker. I want something to brighten the skin. The child didn't get darker. You know, the melanin production just normalized. And absorption rate, because of everything we just mentioned, is lower in normal adult skin and is higher in baby skin, right? And all this. So now, what is the implication of all these things we just mentioned? We have the rise of people who are making baby care products. And due to the structural differences between an adult and baby skin, you must make sure that you take time. It's not just about the regimen. The regimen is very important, but the skincare product also. So when formulating skincare products for babies, you need to make sure that you use ingredients that will protect the baby's skin. We should focus on protecting and preserving this developing skin barrier, right? And this can be achieved through the right use of the right cleansing and moisturizing product for baby's skin. Now, when it comes to formulating baby skin, everything you must formulate as if you're formulating for sensitive skin, because baby skin is very sensitive, right? Baby skin is very sensitive. So please, are you still here? Can you still hear me? Just put a thumbs up in the comment section. Let me know that you can still hear me. You're still here with me on Instagram, on YouTube. Let me know that you are still here with me, please. Before I continue, I don't just want to keep talking and not have people listen. Can you hear me, please? Please let me know that if you can hear me before I continue. Thank you. So if you can hear me, put a thumbs up in the comment section, please, quickly before we continue. I want to be sure that you can hear me loud and clear. Right. Just say yes, I can hear you, or put a thumbs up or okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so all infant skincare should be mild. Like I said, formulate as though you're formulating for sensitive skin, because you're actually formulating for sensitive skin. And then there are some ingredients that are likely to cause irritation in babies. For example, fragrance allergens found in essential oils, some preservative compounds. Now, things like formaldehyde donors, releasers. I've seen people that say, "Oh, I want natural preservatives for baby," and then you go ahead to use preservative echo. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you is that when you're choosing your preservative, don't just choose liquid Gemal Plus, or just choose Euxil PE90, or just you need to take your time to know what your preservative is made up of, right? What's solvent is it in? What is the individual component of your preservative? Take your time to check that before you start to choose what you use for a baby skincare. And then also high concentration of actives, especially with the rise of people that keeps of skincare brands that claim they make products for glowing a child's skin. You need to be really careful. So I've seen people say, "Oh, it's just niacinamide," and then you add as high as maybe 6, 7, 8% niacinamide in a baby skincare product. There's no need for that, right? So also now, what do? You use soothing anti-inflammatory ingredients that reduce irritation. Allantoin, zinc oxide, soothing herbs. I love herbs. I'm a green girl. Like I said, I'm a plant biologist. However, I find that herbs are grossly misused in this part of the world. And when it comes to baby skincare, there's a thin line between making functional products and making products. I know you want to make functional products, you want to use herbs, but you also want to ensure that you use products that won't jeopardize the child's skin. Now, when it comes to herbs are food for microbes. By the time you start adding a lot of herbs, you can actually cause it makes your product prone to microbial contamination. So if you're going to use herbs, please preserve adequately. And for all baby skincare products, you cannot make products containing water without going through preservative efficacy testing. Please note this. It is very important, right? Now, no barrier altering ingredients, harsh use of anionic surfactants. I've heard people say, "Oh, no, I won't use SLES for babies." Well, you can use SLES to create very mild cleansers. However, you need to balance it. That's why I said high concentration. No, I know that sulfates have been given a bad reputation, but you can use sulfates to create a really mild cleanser. It just has to do with how you blend it and pair it with other surfactants. Also, penetration enhancers. I know when you say penetration enhancers, what comes to your mind is a toxic diglycol and all those DMI and all of that. No, some fatty acids have the ability to penetrate the skin, which is why I don't understand. I don't understand the fact that a lot of hospitals still say that we should still write olive oil on their hospital list. Olive oil is high in oleic acid. Oleic acid is something that can increase penetration. And when it comes to baby skin care, you want to minimize whatever it is that can cause influence the baby's barrier or disrupt the baby's developing barrier, right? So choose oils that are higher in linoleic acid, essential fatty acids, than alpha linolenic acid than oleic acid. Then high pH cleansers is a no-no for babies, at least from 0 to 1 year old. Anything soap, I am not it doesn't support the developing skin barrier. Now, you may argue that, I've been using soap, but nothing happened to the child. Remember, functionality doesn't always equate safety. Also, excessive use of disinfectants. These things will influence the microbiome on the baby's skin. And so I would say keep it, except your water source is really dirty. There's no reason why when you use all these disinfectant in the baby's product, it's of no benefit. Now, formulating baby's product, non-foaming cleansers are best for newborns, especially because you can use surfactants. However, like I said, when it comes to surfactants, if you're going to make products that contain water, ensure that you do a PET testing. If you're not going to do that as a baby care brand, please stick to non-foaming cleansers. We have cleansing oils, we have cleansing balms. Those are anhydrous products, so you do not have to bother about they can skip this testing. However, I'm also very worried if you have to use cleansing oils and cleansing balms and add a lot of plants into it, because I've seen people who leave plants floating in their oil. That's bad practice. Please, if you must make oil infusions, and then sieve that oil infusion. Don't leave lavender floating in your baby's oil, or leave. That's wrong. You know, it's not aesthetically pleasing. Apart from not being aesthetically pleasing, even though it's in oil, it's something that can actually cause issues on the baby's skin. So if you must use plant extract, please ensure you extract properly. Also, surfactant-based cleansers, liquid washes, again, do preservative efficacy testing, or you stick to scented bars. Scented bars, just use surfactant, your SCI, your cocamide propyl betaine, SCS, and use it to make scented bars. Surfactant, you use surfactants for it, but in this particular one, you don't even need water for it, right? You can do scented bars without water. Then well-formulated black soap cleansers above 1 year. I don't subscribe to black soap cleanser for children below 1 year. And then pH balance. A baby skincare product should be slightly acidic. That doesn't mean that it should be, you should go add lactic acid and glycolic acid. No. Slightly acidic, 5.5. 4.8 to 5.5 is a good place, or keep it at 5.5. Really, 5.5 is fantastic for a child's skin. Don't alter the barrier. Don't add anything that can alter the barrier. Anything that will irritate the baby's skin, eyes, please remove it. And if you're making scented baths, surfactant-based washes, you can actually make tear-free formulations. Even though tear-free formulations don't stem from the pH, it mostly stems from the combination of your surfactants, right? So effective cleansing, make sure that you make products that will clean properly, but have minimal interaction with the skin. When I say minimal interaction, not influence the skin barrier and all of that. And then preserve properly, please. It's very important, preservation, or stick to an hydrous product. And stay away from soap, like I mentioned, for the first 6 months. I'll say 1 year, but at least 6 months. Choose alternate cleansing methods. Now, formulating baby's products, for your lipids, I already said, some oils might disrupt the baby's skin barrier. Ensure you do your research properly. And if it's in line with your baby's, your brand's ethos, please feel free to use esters to enhance the stability of oils. There's a reason that mainstream uses petrolatum for babies and mineral oils. These things have a very long shelf life. They are not prone to oxidation and all of that. Now, weather is very hot. By the time you add a lot of oils, you need to make sure you formulate it properly. Use antioxidants to slow down the rate of oxidation, which can cause adverse effects on the infant's skin. Essential oils is best left out until the baby is 6 months old, at least. I would say 1 year. But again, if you must use 6 months, and note that not all essential oils can be used. And even when you use essential oils, please keep the concentration really, really, really low. Preservation is a must. And even when you're making cleansing balms, like I said, please ensure that you add a preservative. A cleansing balm is an anhydrous product, but most times mothers, grandmas will most likely dip wet hands into this balm, so you want to ensure that you preserve properly, right? Now, for black soap, even when your child clocks 1 year and you want to make black soap formulations for babies, stick to liquid formulations, because with liquid formulations you can keep the black soap, you can keep the concentration of black soap really low, and then add a blend of non-ionic amphoteric surfactants to increase the mildness. So reduce the concentration of black soap in the formula, and then make it up with the amphoteric non-ionic surfactants to increase the mildness, and this will also increase viscosity. And not only will this increase mildness and viscosity, with this you can actually adjust the pH to 7.5 to 7.8, where possible, because the black soap is really low. So see it as, when you're customizing liquid black soap washes, see it that your black soap is your anionic surfactant. And some anionic surfactants won't work at pH maybe lower than 6, some 5.5. So see it that your black soap is your anionic surfactant. So keep it really low. You can use as low as 20% black soap in your formulation, or even lower. A baby doesn't do as much work as an adult does, so you don't need to keep scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. Sometimes in your surfactant based washes you can even skip the anionic surfactant and work with non-ionic amphoteric surfactant. And be sure to add refattening agents to this, and please preserve well, right? So finally, protection through moisturizing, occlusive to reduce transepidermal water loss. Remember we said in adults is lower, in children, in babies is higher. So you need to use occlusives, waxes, your butters, emollients. Carefully choose your emollients. You can use things that are high in essential fatty acids, your linoleic acid. Antioxidants, very important. Humectants, please stick to glycerin. Then ensure that you use anti-inflammatory. So I would say soothing, not anti-inflammatory, because so that I won't make any claim. Soothing, soothing ingredients to um, um, minimize any form of irritation on the baby's skin. Right. So we have come to the end of this session. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop. I'll just take questions for like 2 minutes, and I would go. Please let me know if you have any questions. Any questions, please? Do you have any questions? Okay, in the absence of none, I'm going to take my leave. If you have any questions, please make sure to note it down, and then you will answer it in the Q&A session. Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Okay, so our next speaker is one is one brand that I really really love. Um, I call her our mama in the industry, natural Nigerian. When I first started out, then she was the brand was one of the brands that influenced my decision. And when it comes to ethical practices, you can't talk about ethical practices in Nigeria or in formulation without mentioning natural Nigerian. They've stuck to their brand ethos. They've run with it. They've grown with it, and I really really not only appreciate, but will I say envy? It's amazing that people can it tells us that you can grow an ethical brand, because one of the things I find that people complain about is, oh, how do I want to meet the demands of my customers. So you can actually meet the demand of your customers while still being ethical. So let's listen to the next session is going to be by Natural Nigerian. She's going to talk to us about the importance of GMP and then preservation, right? So welcome, Natural Nigerian. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. So I'll just leave the stage now and you take over. Thank you. Sorry? Can you hear me? Okay. Yes.
You probably know me as Natural Nigerian, but I'm also the co founder of Formulation Class, which I run with my sister. I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry and I've worked as a chemist in multinationals. I did that before I decided to dedicate myself to building the Natural Nigerian brand as well as Formulation Class. I'll tell you a little bit about Formulation Class. We have courses for beginner, intermediary, and even expert cosmetic formulators, and we're still adding on. We have classes starting from building your brand philosophy, which is the very first thing any serious formulator should do, pricing your products, understanding the documentation that comes with your raw materials, and we also go into the core of formulating, emulsions, preservation, things like that. So please check us out on www.formulationclass.com. I'm very pleased to present to you today these topics that are very important for every cosmetic formulator to know. This can also be important for even consumers to be aware of so that they understand their rights and what to expect of the cosmetic formulators who sell them products. As you can see, I'm going to be discussing the importance of GMP, preservation, and cosmetic testing. While all these three things are related, they are topics each deserving of their own course, and I implore you to go into each one to get more details. I'm going to start by generally speaking on each one and then tying them all together to see so that we can see the importance that these three bring to any formulation that you make. Let us begin with GMP. This acronym stands for Good Manufacturing Practices, and I did a random search online to find you a definition, just to show that it's not difficult. So the definition states that good manufacturing practice is a system for ensuring that products are consistently produced and controlled according to quality standards. I would like to highlight the word system here. This should bring up the picture to you of something with many parts, many moving parts, and each one needing to work independently, but at the same time, all of them working together in order for a goal to be met. An example is a watch, the sort that you wear on your wrist, for instance. Is there any other type of watch? Anyway, a simple watch can have up to a dozen gears working together at the same time, driving one another so that your watch can tick every second. You take one gear out of the loop, and your watch doesn't work, or if you're lucky, doesn't work as well. This definition also talks about consistency. Having GMP in place allows you to follow your master formula and churn out the same product year after year. It's like going to your favorite eatery because you like the taste of, say, their chicken. You like the taste of their chicken because you can be assured that if you go in on Monday, the chicken they prepare on that day will taste the same as the chicken they prepare when you go in 2 months later, 4 months later, and even the year after. Do you know what else happens when you have GMP in place? You can identify and iron out any kinks in your process. GMP is not necessarily always passive, it can be active in that it can throw up any problems in your system, and then you can use GMP to resolve that. It sounds very circular, doesn't it? That's because it is. Here is a crude diagram showing some of the aspects of your formulating life that can be dealt with when using GMP. Please bear in mind that this is in no way covering everything. We don't have that sort of time here. With GMP, you are able to question your raw materials because to admit them into your storage, you will probably have a checklist ensuring that you have adequate information on each raw material. You will also have received a certificate of analysis and an SDS, which allows you to know how to store the raw material properly, the date of manufacture, the date of expiry, and much more. Your GMP will also demand that you pay attention to your equipment. For instance, you could have, or you should actually have a schedule for calibrating the equipment that you have so that it gives you the right readings every single time. Things like your balances for weighing out stuff. You should also include the maintenance schedule so that you can use it safely as well. A good GMP will also include documents that cover even how your personnel behave not only in your office but around your raw materials, your finished products, how you store them, things like that. So your GMP should be able to guide your production so that when you are done, you are able to calculate not only how much inventory has gone in, you should be able to know how much is left. You should be able to know when that particular batch you have produced will expire. You should even be able to give it a batch number, all thanks to GMP. Most of these things will be documented in your standard operating procedures. And yes, your GMP covers your SOPs as well. So you see, there is a codependency, just like with our gears. Each one has to be in place and working for the entire system to work properly. It might sound daunting, but with the right file keeping system, and these days we have computers, it's something that you can achieve. Let's talk a little about the next topic, preservation is something that I'm really passionate about, always have been. Trigger warning if you are squeamish. I am about to show you microbes, and I'm going to show you those microbes for about 12 seconds. Don't worry, I'll warn you when it's time. They may not be the exact sort of microbes that are found in cosmetics, but I'm just trying to paint a picture. You can look away when I count down. I just listen to my voice. So in three, two, one. The reason why we're concerned with preservation is because we don't want this sort of nastiness occurring in our products. Microbes are alive and they multiply when we do not purposefully address them in our products. As we know, preservatives are ingredients that have the ability to prevent or decrease microbial growth in a cosmetic. No matter what sort of products you are making, you should start the conversation with preservatives and then you work out if you need to include them or not. A good rule of thumb is that if you're making products that have a liquid in them, especially water, you need preservatives. If the pH of your products are between 3 and 10, you need preservatives. If your products are anhydrous, that means that they don't contain any water. But the way they are going to be used means that water can be introduced to them, or it's just going to be handled in a certain manner. You need preservatives, and so on and so forth. With the world wanting more natural preservatives, those do exist and you can use them in your products, but you should be updated on the literature in order to make the best choice possible. Apart from having a course on preservatives, we have a separate course on how to read the information that comes to your preservatives in order to make the best choice. At any given time, whether natural or synthetic, you're looking for a broad spectrum preservative that will deal with the main microorganisms we tend to find in cosmetics. These are bacteria, yeast, and mold. To be sure that your preservative is effective, you must perform a test called preservative efficacy testing. It's also called challenge testing. And before I take advantage of that really delicious segue to discuss our next area of concern, let me just give you a short list of importance of preserving your cosmetic products. The first one is that it stalls contamination. And that leads us to the next one, which is that it will prolong the shelf life of your product. An improperly preserved product may last, if you're lucky, 3 to 6 months from the time it is made, and the properly preserved one may last as long as 36 months or more. This, of course, is different from the PAO, which we will not cover here. A properly preserved product will help to maintain skin health. And here I have to be clear that I'm talking about using the right percentage, especially not too much, so the skin doesn't get irritated, as well as using the right percentage so that the preservative is actually effective. There is a balance that has to be met, and you can get guidance from the documentation that comes with your raw material. The last point is protecting your brand reputation. No brand wants to be known as that brand that had a product that was open and there was mold in it. A lot of customers will not give you a second chance. Now, the last main thing I'm going to cover is cosmetic testing. There are several tests that can be performed in order to assure oneself that a cosmetic brand is meeting the goal of putting out effective, safe, and consistent products. We will cover some of them here. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to talk very quickly about only two tests: stability tests and PET, that is a challenge testing or our preservative efficacy test. These two types of tests will cover everything that we have here in terms of efficacy, quality, safety. Not to be pedantic, but stability tests also test for the safety of your products. However, again, we have to be quick, right? The objective of a stability test is in its name. It's simply to check whether your product is stable. It does this by putting a sample of your product under stress. It covers temperature stress by placing it in a warm and then a cold environment, mechanical stress by shaking it around to see if it will separate. The product is tested to ensure that certain parameters stay the same or at least are active for a long period of time. For instance, there should be no color change, the fragrance shouldn't go off, the active material should remain active, the pH shouldn't drift past a certain point if at all. Sometimes a compatibility test with the packaging is also carried out to ensure that the packaging is right for the product and vice versa. A stability test will, among other things, test the travelability of your products, especially for those that want to sell in foreign markets. It takes a while for products to arrive, especially by sea. It takes a while for them to be offloaded, placed in warehouses before they finally arrive in the hand of your customers. You will want them to have the experience they would have had as though you had made the products fresh. Now that we have a broad understanding of GMP preservation and cosmetic testing and how it plays into our formulations, I hope that it is easy to see why they are so important. No matter how big or small your brand is, whether you have one product or two, these are things that you need to imbibe. It is all about consistency, safety, quality. If you're able to build these systems, they go a long way in endearing you to your customers who can expect to buy your products and get the same results year in, year out. They can also be rest assured that your products will not lead them down the path of any adverse effects. And with that, we've come to the end of this particular topic. It is my hope that this has enriched you in some way and will make you an even more formidable formulator. One last thing. I took a lot of creative liberties with the videos, so what you saw me show was not necessarily the exact sort of test that would go on behind the scenes. It was just done to make it a bit more interesting for you to watch and listen to. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you so much, Natural Nigerian. Um, I really gained a lot from this session. I actually liked the session. Um, Please, does anyone have any questions on this topic? I expect that people will have questions on this topic, especially here in this Nigeria. Please, do you have questions on preservative efficacy testing, stability testing, and anything that has to do with preservation and all of that? If you have questions, please feel free to drop it. And Natural Nigerian will do well to answer. Do you have questions, please? Any questions? Okay, so Olenyo said, does the time you add your preservatives matter? Natural Nigerian, please, can you hear me? Hello? NN, can you hear me, please? Someone says, does the time you add your preservatives matter?
It does matter. It's very much dependent on what
I'm not sure. Please, can everyone hear that? Did you hear the answer to the question?
I'm trying to plug my other microphone.
I think, I'm not sure they can hear you. Please, can you hear? Let me know if you can hear. Only, sorry, I don't know if she said she didn't hear you, NN.
So I'm going to answer
She
that.
didn't hear the answer.
I'm going to answer that
Okay,
20 seconds to tell you another microphone. Okay, there now.
okay, there's going to be a question and answer session tomorrow. We'll have a Q and A session.
Okay.
So please, um, if okay, I think we can hear you now. We can hear
Okay,
you loud
sorry.
and clear.
So the answer to the first question was that yes, it does matter what time you put in your preservative. Some preservatives can be added with heat in case you're heating up the the product that you're making, and some do not like heat. So with everything, you should read the material that comes with your preservative. If you buy any preservative, you must have some sort of guideline from the manufacturer. And the second question I see here is, how can you determine the percentage of the preservative? Again, all of that is in the material that you must receive. This is something that's really important because a lot of people in Nigeria buy products from people that are just selling, out of a keg or something, and there's no backup material. We need to start insisting on that backup material. There's always material that comes um, from the manufacturer. If we don't have an incubator, how can we conduct the stability test? Fantastic question. You're not even supposed to conduct it yourself. You're supposed to send it off to a lab and have them do it for you. Even if you do have an incubator, if you let me take as an example your PET testing, you're going to have to inoculate some samples, and you don't want to do that in your lab. They are very strongly advised against doing that. You should send it to a lab that is specially equipped to handle that sort of thing so that you don't have an overrun of those inoculants in your lab where you're making your cosmetic formulation.
Okay, can you hear me? And then can
I
you hear
can.
me? Okay, I can see a question on Instagram. Okay, I think you already answered. Someone that said, what percentage of preservative should we add to our products? I think. And someone said, does the pH at which you add, does the pH at which adding your preservative matter?
Absolutely. And again, everything comes down to documentation. All this information that you're asking about is in the documentation. Every formulator should be able to demand, it's your right, to have the right sort of information. If the person you're buying from cannot give you the information, you should not be buying from that person. It doesn't even meet your GMP needs if you don't have the right documentation. So, yes, it does matter. I think I will go a bit into this in a lot more
In
into
the
this in the
yeah,
Q&A,
in the
so
Q
as
and
to
A
allow the
session.
other people to also present
So
theirs.
okay. Okay, thank you very much. Now,
Okay.
Olenyo says, does the freeze? Sorry, this last question. Let me just. She said, does the
Yeah,
freeze
sure.
and thaw method count in this case? So I was going to say that here, where we have epileptic power supply, how do you record? How do you know? How if you can sustain that, maybe you have constant power supply, then that's fine. However, if you cannot, I think it's important that you just send it out so that you get proper testing, stability testing done on your product. Okay, so we'll just invite the next speaker. Thank you so much, NN,
I have one
for
more.
this
Sorry.
wonderful
I
session.
have one more.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay,
Sorry,
okay,
because she's already put it up. Bex the
okay.
Bee, thank you so much. She says, thank you for the class. My question is, what advice do you give to people who don't have enough funds to do the proper lab testing but can do stability tests? That I don't quite understand. You don't have the funds to do but you can do the stability. That's in you have the funds to do the stability test, but you can't do proper lab testing. I'm sorry, I don't quite understand your question, but I'll be happy to answer it on the day that we do the Q&A. I'll note it for that day, and you can just write more about it.
Okay. Thank you so much. And lastly, let me just add this. Liquid Gemal Plus is not the only preservative we have. And then
Absolutely.
all preservatives shouldn't be used at 1%, because I find that maybe because of the information people see on the internet, because when they see preservative 1%, so you feel like every preservative should be added at 1%. No, so like MM already said earlier on, check your preservative, check your documents to see the concentration at which your preservative should be added, and all of that. Is it broad spectrum? What's the concentration that you should add? What's the pH and all of that? So thank you, NN. My Joseph's Lab will come on stage now. Thank you so much. Okay, so our next speaker for the day is my Joseph's Lab. Okay, so Her name is Evita Joseph Asare. She's a beauty entrepreneur and is certified makeup artist with a background in mechanical engineering. And she founded the Evita Joseph beauty brand in Ghana to empower women through meticulously formulated skin and cosmetic products, leveraging her expertise in both the beauty industry and online marketing. So you can also check out her website. You can check out her page. Her page is My Joseph Lab. So she's gonna come up now to talk to us. About sorry, building and okay, sorry, no, formula development and contract manufacturing, sustainable options to start up beauty brands. So I find that some people want to own brands, but they do not know how to formulate. But you want to have your own beauty brand. So she's going to come up to talk to you about it and how you can go about it.
Okay, my
Welcome. Welcome,
presentation is
Evita.
loading.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you so much
Welcome.
for
All
having me
right.
here. It's a privilege. I'm honored. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Oh, so yeah, it's here. So, like she
Yeah.
said, my name is Evita, and I'm a Ghanaian. Uh, I would be talking just a little bit about myself. My topic is really about formula development and sustainable options of producing your products. So we'll be looking at manufacturing models, formula development, and all that. I think just a brief about me. I hold an EMBA, an executive master's in marketing, and I'm a bachelor's degree holder also in mechanical engineering. And it will surprise you to know that in my time, in my class, we were 124 students, and we were just four ladies in my class. So days that one of us is absent, they will go like 25% of the ladies in this class are not around, and we always found it very funny. Yeah. I
Yes.
just recently graduated from personal care science, so that makes me a cosmetic chemist. I also took very good courses with Formula Botanica that actually started my formulating journey. I have a professional certificate in makeup artistry. I worked as an engineer with Total Energies and Toyota Ghana Limited. And I am married also with 3 children. So let's dive right into it. Formula development. So you think of your idea, okay, I want to start a beauty brand or a personal care brand, okay? And where do I start from? You need to make the product. You need to have the product in your hand. You need to have, first of all, the soft product. So the soft product is the formula. And in terms of formula, you can have what we call a stock formula or a custom developed formula. So a stock formula is like a formula that is already available on the market that you can buy with little or no customization at all. And a lot of stock formulas are also available to everyone. That means that you would just not be the custodian of that particular formula, because everyone can actually buy it unless the lab or the chemist you are buying from is willing to do some level of customization for you. Then you can say, okay, you have almost landed yourself a custom developed formula. It also saves time and energy because most stock formulas have been tested. That is my stock formulas that I sell, and most stock formulas that I know, they go ahead to test the product. We've already learned about testing. So they would do stability, they would do preservative testing. So it cut down on your time, and also it cut down on your expenses, your capital that you need to invest in. And once you have the stock formula, you can actually then take on the next thing that we are going to talk about, to look for a manufacturer or think of a manufacturing model for the business. If you don't want a stock formula because you want your privacy or you want to be so unique, then you go towards the custom development. That is formulating really according to brief. So what is a brief? The brief of the product is like the DNA of the product, where we talk about the nature. You are also talking about the target, like Sumi said, the target market. We are also talking about the form of the product, the aesthetics, the sensory, your hero ingredients. So that becomes your brief. That for you to for that to help the chemist to develop that custom formula for you. At the end of the day, you own the ownership of that intellectual property. Unlike stock formula, you just use it, you don't own it, because everyone else can also buy it. So it makes it very expensive. When it comes to custom formulation, it can go, I think yesterday I saw that on a website, they said their custom formulation starts from, I think, $7,800. And I'm like, no, I need to sit back and revise because because I think that I am probably taking chicken change, but it's a big investment. So you have to be ready to make that investment so that you can go that route. And it's also time consuming because we are formulating according to brief. Most often you have the idea and you approach a chemist. So it would take the chemist some level of rounds of formulation to really understand and get the picture of the kind of product you are trying to put across. Okay. And that should be a mutual thing. You have to respect your chemist. You don't have to be pushy. You have to be open about feedback and give the right feedback, and also be how do I put it, be also specific. There are some people who have so many ideas. Today it's either the cream should be light, the next day, once we are formulating to brief, you need to be able to spell out your brief very well for the chemist to be able to do that job for you. So if you don't have budget, I would always say go for a stock formula that fits your product needs, or the kind of solution you want to offer your clients. You can always search the internet and look for a stock formula that can fit that need. Once you have that stock formula, that business idea, you've put everything together, then the next important thing is now you want to make the physical product, because that is really the business. So you think about your manufacturing model. There are so many of them. You can decide to go private label. Okay, so private label is not a bad thing. Don't let anyone about mouth you, or anyone guilt trap you for thinking that your products are private label, so they are bad. But there are downside of private label. So what is private label? Private label, it's like going to a manufacturer and telling them that, okay, I like this product of yours. I want to sell it. So they put your brand on it. That's it. But with private label, you can have some sort of customization. So normally they would leave some one or two ingredients out, an active out, so that you can actually add that and customize it sometimes in terms of smell, fragrances, even sometimes some little actives. So you can actually customize it to fit your needs. Some private label will require certain MOQs, and also some will tell you that you have to be with them for a very long time. So you have to be prepared for a long-term commitment when it comes to private label. Apart from private label, we also have white label. So for white label, you just see it, you just put your brand on it. That is it. You can't have any customization done. You can't do anything about the product. So it's 10% niacinamide, 1% zinc. That is what you are going to get. You cannot say, let's add this or let's add that. That is what, it's a low investment. And most often the MOQs are also very low. So you can actually start either with a white label or a private label. If not, you can go to a contract manufacturer. There's a contract manufacturer here. Unfortunately, she will not be talking about contract manufacturing and skin and hair manufacturing hub. So you have your formula, okay? You approach, and that formula has to be a working formula. When I say a working formula, most of us get formulas online, and then we don't even know the product specification. We don't even know how it looks like how the product looks like, how it feels like. And then we approach a contract manufacturer. I want to make this product. Meanwhile, you don't know how the product feels. You don't know how it looks. You don't even know how it will turn out because you just found the formula. So I say approach a lab with a working formula, a formula that you have tried, you have tested. So when you are buying your stock formula, remember to ask if you can get a sample, if you can buy a sample, because my stock formulas, I offer samples. So you can actually buy the sample and try it. If you like it, then you can go ahead and buy the formula and take to a contract manufacturer who can actually produce for you. One thing about contract manufacturing is that it gives you time to focus on your business, okay? Because I mean, manufacturing is a big deal. Trust me. I mean, it's like cooking for a large number of people. It's a big deal. And so if you would rather imagine you are having your wedding and you decide to cook by yourself, that's a big deal. Like you'll be so stressed. So offering that service or outsourcing that that part of your business to a contract manufacturer gives you so much time and flexibility to concentrate on other parts of the business, like marketing, promotions, and stuff like that. And quality control. I mean, if you cannot control the things around your lab in terms of safety, in terms of consistency in products, then you should outsource that. And most often, some of the MOQs with these contract manufacturers can be a little bit very high. Most often, like 5,000 units can be high, but Skin and Hair Manufacturing Hub, she's able to accommodate very low MOQ, so you can reach out to her for that. If not, in-house manufacturing, and I think there was a mistake here. I think in our parts of our world, Africa, mostly we do in-house manufacturing. That is making your own products. And the beauty about it is that there is flexibility in the numbers that you can produce, because now a lot of people pride themselves with the fact that we make small batches. But it doesn't mean anything, If my products have been tested and I know of my stability and I know my preservative system is good enough, I don't care if I'm making 5,000 units, because I know that the shelf life is good enough for me to sell within that period, So small batches, it is fresh, it is this, it doesn't mean anything. But in-house manufacturing, I look at it two ways. It's either you are going all in or you are going all out. Okay. What I mean by going all in is that, like, I have a friend in Ghana. She makes hair care product and she's really gone all in. She hired a whole, or rented, not hired, she rented a whole house for herself. She has divisions, she has quality control area, she has formulation, raw material area, and that is very huge. And she has the right equipment to make. So if you are thinking of in-house manufacturing, there are a lot of things. Formulation skills. One, you need to be trained yourself to handle all the processes involved in formulating or manufacturing. You need to be confident enough to say that, look, I want to make these products. Okay. Apart from that, your personnel, so who are you going to work with? Okay. If you are making just 10 pieces, then you should know that really it's like I won't say you are playing, but let's be serious, okay? You can't spend that amount of time, invest in raw materials and stuff like that, and just be making 10 pieces of product for just your small neighborhood. We can't grow like that. So in terms of setup and sourcing, there is capital involved. You have to be willing to spend so much money to actually be able to make or build yourself a very befitting in-house lab, such that you can manufacture products that can be on the shelves of ShopRite's, Game, and the likes. Okay, I don't know the supermarkets in Nigeria, but in Ghana, that's the kind of supermarkets there. You should also be willing to invest in compliance and safety. I mean, formulation class mentioned it. You have to be able to perform your preservative testing. You have to be able to perform your how do we call it, your stability testing, and even other types of different water testing, airflow. Like, so there is so much that it's involved if you are doing in-house manufacturing. So at the end of the day, like, which one is sustainable? That is really a decision that lies with you. I mean, it has to align with your company's strategy and goals. You can always start with white label, make some money, progress to private label, make some money, gain some good grounds, and either outsource or do in-house manufacturing. And I mean, that comes with time, okay? Because as you outsource or even do in-house manufacturing, then probably now your numbers are consistent, you are growing, and so you can actually make very good investments in thinking about any of these options. So that is it. I hope I didn't confuse you or got you thinking, but you can find me, you can send me an email at myjosephslab@gmail.com, or you can check out my website, josephslab.com. And I am located in the Netherlands, so sometimes foreign exchange is not that, the naira is not smiling, you see. The local currency is not smiling at all. So sometimes if you reach out to me, I would refer you to Chisom, like I call her Chisom, to Chisom, or other people that I know in Nigeria or in Ghana who are also in the industry. So thank you very much, and I hope you learned one or two.
Thank you so much, Evita. Thank you. Very interesting session. I actually really like the session because this is something that a lot of people do not talk about. And I even see that people are quiet. Please, can you hear us? Can you still hear us? Are you on Instagram, YouTube? Please let us know if you can hear us. Because I had to put this in place because I find that people do not really understand that you can go the way of private labeling, contract manufacturing. There are so many options. You do not have to manufacture this product yourself. If you don't have the expertise if you don't have the right tools and equipment and the knowledge, then you can outsource these things. Stock formulas, you can buy stock formulas. If you can, it's one thing about buying stock formulas and another thing formulating it, because I also find that sometimes people buy stock formulas and then just change up the ingredient there. I once made a post about this. So you may see a particular preservative in the stock formula and then you just buy it and then change it to something else. It doesn't work that way. If you buy stock formulas, you have to stick to what's in the stock formula, right? So please, if you have any questions, please feel free. Questions on private labeling, contract manufacturing, white labeling, other options. You mustn't make these things yourself. The important thing is that you make products that high performance, quality, top notch, safe. Functionality doesn't always equate safety. Safe products. So please, and then did you hear the pricing? Please, we should stop underrating ourselves. Did you hear the price?
I mean, price is very important. I think recently somebody also reached out that they wanted a chemist. They wanted to work with a chemist. So that's also another thing. You can actually work with a chemist who can actually
Mm-hmm.
come in your space and help streamline things, or even book
Exactly.
like consultation. I mean, let's open ourselves up and learn, because and do things rightly. Enough shea butter is great, black soap is amazing, but I
Enough
think
of all
we
that.
need to go beyond the borders of our shea butter and our cocoa butter and do more stuff, with the
Yes, I
kind of
agree
raw
with you.
materials we have. And don't be afraid to approach a chemist and talk to them and pay them money. I booked Chisom. I wanted to talk to her. I said, look, I need to do these things. Can you help me? Let me book a consultation and part away with something, part away with money, and gain the knowledge that you need in your business. Because if you don't,
Yes,
others will
that's
do.
very
And
important.
yeah, and when others are winning, you'll be there on the fence thinking, why is this thing not working out for me? Okay. I think anything other
Exactly.
than in-house manufacturing has been shamed. They feel like they don't know anything if you do private label or white label. No, it doesn't. When I started my beauty brand, Evita Joseph, I started off by selling other people's brands. Okay, that is how I started selling BH Cosmetics and the lies, Coastal Scents. I'm talking about 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago. And that is how I was able to build capital enough to actually start my own brand, Evita Joseph. So do not be afraid. Don't let anyone guilt trap you to think that, okay, our products are private label. Even if it's private label, start there, build your capital, build yourself, learn the industry, learn the trade, and move on to you developing, contracting a lab to develop your formula for you. And then you never know.
Exactly.
So
Please,
yeah,
we
thank
need to
you so
think
much.
outside the box. We need to think big. We need to start thinking big. And thinking about brands that will outlive us. Not we just don't want to do it for the now. We're looking at sustainability. These are the kind of things that you should look into. We want brands that will grow over time, and like I said, outlive us. So if you can't even do in-house manufacturing for now, of course, please feel free to do white label, private labeling, and ensure that who you are buying from is somebody who knows the nitty gritty of formulation. Do not just buy from any person because it defeats the purpose. You
Yeah.
want to buy something from somebody who you are sure knows what he or she is doing. Okay, thank you so much, Evita. Thank you for your session. Thank you for your time. And if you have any other questions, please drop it and then we will answer this tomorrow in the Q&A session. We're going to have one long session dedicated to answering questions. Thank you so much, Evita. So I'm going to bring up the next person, and the next person is Aduni Organics. Olumide Badebo. So she's a passionate formulator. I've known Olumide for a very long time. She's the CEO of Aduni Organics. She's passionate about harnessing the power of nature through science and technology. She founded Aduni Organics in 2014 with a focus of producing world-class nutritive products to enhance skin and hair health. And let me also add that this is one brand. This is why she's talking to us about how to build, you know, ethical brands without cutting corners. Like, how do you? Because this is one brand that I've seen that over the years didn't bow to the pressure of all this skin lightening. Oh, I want 4 shades lighter, caramel glow, and they are growing well. They are growing as I'm so impressed with the growth. So I'm going to bring Adunia. We're going to invite Adunia to come and tell us how they've been able to do this over the years, and the things that how not to bow to pressure. You know. Hi, Olumide. Welcome. You may need to unmute yourself. Unmute. You may need to
Sorry,
unmute
I just
yourself.
did.
Okay. Thank you for joining. Sorry. Let me see. Mm. Try unmuting again, please.
Ah, I think I got it now.
Okay. Yes, yes, you
Hello,
got it now.
Tommy.
Thank you
Happy
for
New Year
joining.
again.
I wish you
How you
same. See your
doing?
fine hair. Your hair is proof that our products are working.
Our products work. Our products work.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to leave the stage now and let you talk about your thing, right?
Okay.
Okay, let me see. Do you have slides?
No, I don't have any slides.
Um, okay, okay, that's fine. Okay, you can just go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My
Okay
name
then.
is Olumide Gadibo. I'm the CEO of Aduni Organics. We are a brand that makes a range of nutritive hair and skincare products. We're based in Lagos, Nigeria. We're stocked in 7 countries all over the world. We started in 2014. And as Sami said, we started out, the focus right from the beginning was natural skin and hair care. So you heard Sami complimenting my hair. The story is this was not the plan for my life at all. I was working regular 9 to 5. And then at some point, I decided to go back to natural hair. My hair was a mess. I just used to wear wigs and weaves. So I started, fiddling with shea butter and oils. I went online 2012 thereabouts. The natural hair thing was really new. But there was quite a lot of information online. So I was researching a lot and I've, started playing with things and I was mixing them and my hair was recovering. And so my friends started asking me, what are you doing? Because they knew that my hair was thin. It was not healthy at all. And so along the line, research, experimenting, I now realize that a lot of the conventional products that we had on shelves had ingredients in them that were questionable, basically. And so I started making stuff for my skin as well. And then people were asking, and I would give somebody something, and then they would come back, and then I would say, you need to pay for it. And they would pay for it. And somehow, before I knew it, every weekend I was mixing things and selling them during the week. And here we are today. But because of the way the business started, it basically started itself. And I saw from the beginning the results of simple, everyday raw materials that we take for granted. A basic shea butter, palm kernel oil, mango butter, just your olive oil, the things in your kitchen. The molecules they contain are so rich. They are literally everything your body, your skin and hair need to achieve balance. Now, I talk about balance because what I realized is a lot of the issues we complain about regarding our skin and hair are just about internal imbalance because of stress, because of environmental factors, and all of that. Once you achieve that balance, then the rest of it aligns in most cases, not in all cases. Um, Now, so it was easy to become an ethical brand because I could see the difference. I had been using regular conventional brands before. And when I started mixing these things, I saw the difference. People around me that I gave these things to saw the difference. And along the line, I now realize that a lot of hormonal issues that I had also started getting resolved as I eradicated certain ingredients, certain things from the skin and hair care products that I was using. And then full time, I started the business full time maybe 2016, 2017, 2018. It was in the middle of those years. And that was when organic, as we know it in Nigeria, began. And so there was the question of, will it lighten me? Or I would be chatting with somebody and then I would say, yes, we have handmade soaps, natural creams. And then they'll say, but what does it do? And this question would baffle me because, I mean, soap cleans your skin. What else is it supposed to do? A lotion moisturizes. But I realized they were expecting me to say something else, like when you use it, it will do this, it will do that. And I won't lie to you, it was tempting to begin to tinker to say, because there was an overwhelming need for it. You could tell that a lot of people wanted to get lighter. People will say, will it lighten me? I want 1 or 2 shades. Some people even wanted more shades. Like it was an overwhelming question. But you get to a point where you need to ask yourself, What am I doing this for? And my answer was never in doubt. The whole idea, the whole reason behind the business was because I saw what natural ingredients could do. I saw the power live. It's not that somebody showed it to me. I played with these things. I saw the progress, not just in my skin and hair, but for many, many other people. And for me, the quality of skin and hair was my focus. So it was not too difficult for me to stay focused. And there were a few years where it was really difficult to look at, literally kind of leave money on the table, because it was like people are asking for this thing. You can put one or two things into these creams and you give them what they want. But something inside me would always just say, look, you're selling, you're growing, so focus. And what this also did to me was it helped me to now focus on the business side of the brand. Um, I like what Evita said. She focused on the production side, but I really like when she mentioned that you don't necessarily have to make your products to build a successful brand, because the craft of creating is one thing, the science of getting it right is another thing. But that's just one phase of it if you're building a brand. The business of beauty is a completely different thing. Now, when you have perfected your craft and you've perfected the science, you now need to sit down and look at your business model, your revenue streams, like your marketing, your packaging. How are you selling? These are the things, because I've been asked to talk about building an ethical and a profitable brand. So it's one thing to get the ethical part right. I do have a lot of people who ask me, I don't do skin lightening, but my products are not selling. It is not selling because it doesn't lighten skin. I hope that makes sense. What's your packaging like? Even if you're selling just whipped butters, how do they look? Are your labels straight? Do you have your ingredients written out? If they put you beside a brand like Natural Nigerian, how would you compete? Will you buy your product on a shelf? If you didn't make it, look at that product. Would you buy it? Okay, you made the cream today. You made another one last week, Wednesday. The same cream. You look at them. Are they the same? Are your production processes consistent? What's your quality control like? These are the things that determine your profitability down the line. I will tell you for free that Nigerians, Africans, Black people will buy our products. They are happy to put their money behind your brand if they buy into what your dream is. Now, what's your photography like? What's your Instagram like? Do you have a website? Are you stocked in any stores? The business of beauty is what determines whether you sell or not the quality of your product. What the quality of your product determines is whether they will come back. But you see that initial sale, it is about the business. How do you present your product? Where do you place your product? How is your product perceived? Aduni Organics is a simple brand. Because I'm not a chemist, I'm a physiotherapist. Yes, I've studied cosmetic science, but I am not a chemist. Because I started this as a hobby, I started with the basics. And when I saw that the basics worked, I didn't bother myself. So I'm not telling anybody that I do high performance because I don't do high performance. There are certain raw materials I will not touch as Aduni Organics because they are beyond my purview as a brand. There are many other brands who provide such products. I understand who I am as a brand. When you come into our sales line, our welcome message says, hello, thank you for stopping by, something, something. We do not do whitening or lightening. It tells you straight from the get-go because we're trying to separate who is who. We understand that not everybody is a customer, and that is fine. So the business, there's so many things involved. You need to define your brand and stay there. Believe me, your customers will identify you, they will come to you. What's your pricing like? Are you offering value for money? NM knows very well that pricing is a huge point for Aduni Organics as a brand. we try to make sure that we offer value for money spent. It is one of the pillars of our brand. Customer service efficiency is another pillar of our brand. My sales staff know that messages must not go unanswered for more than a few minutes during work hours and must be replied by the next day if they came in overnight. There are certain processes we follow to ensure that our customers feel a certain way about our brand, and that is what keeps them coming back. If you are the sort of person who finds it difficult to go on a website to order, Adoni Organics will not likely work for you because that is the only way you can order from us. If you are the kind of customer who expects to sit on the phone with one person and talk and talk and talk, we will probably not work for you because a lot of our activities are automated. Our focus is on efficiency. Now, when you realize who you are for will drift towards you naturally and stay with you if you do what you say you will do and you do it well. There's nothing wrong with selling just one whipped shea butter product. That's another thing that I needed to point out. A mistake I made in the beginning was because I fell in love with the craft. I had like maybe 50 products. I would read about camwood. And I would say, oh my God, it can do this, it can do this. And I will make camwood soap. Then I'll say, okay, since I have camwood soap, let me make camwood lotion. Then I'll decide to make camwood scrub. Then all of a sudden, I have a camwood range that maybe in a month, only 2 people will ask for it. So at a point, I had to ask myself, Madam, focus. I had to streamline our product offerings. I also listened to the market, and this is where data comes in. I was doing a lot of data. I was recording, seeing what people were buying. I was seeing what people were buying. I was seeing what people were asking for. I was seeing what people were not buying, what was working, what wasn't working. And I was responding to that. So I noticed that certain products were not doing as well as certain products. I would ask certain questions from customers. And then I focused on the things that were doing well. You know, this rule about how 10% of the work you do brings 90% of your revenue? It's a very relevant rule. So you need to write things down in your business. Record your sales. What products are they asking for? Who is asking for them? What's the age of these people? What's the location of these people? A person who is an office worker is different from a person who is a business owner. A person in their 30s with a young family is different from a person in their 50s whose children are in uni or have graduated. They have different needs, they have different thought processes. You have to understand them, and the only way you can do this is to study them. So if you are pushing a brand and you do not write your customers' names down, honestly, you really need to ask yourself if you really want to do this. Your brand needs to be customer focused because they are the ones you're making these products for. So who are they? Where are they from? What do they like? How do they want us to behave to them? These questions will guide you to produce a product that is perfect for them. When I saw that the skin lightening thing was overwhelming, at some point I realized people want something, but it doesn't have to be skin lightening. I saw a lot of people who stumbled on whitening products because they were dealing with acne. The acne was overwhelming. They tried this and tried that, and somebody gave them something that bleached their whole outer layer away along with the acne. But their issue was acne. So they would have been happy to find a product that dealt with the acne without lightening their skin. So I said, okay, we make an acne product. Hyperpigmentation. There are many problems that you can prefer solutions to. Skin lightening is just one of them. I'm not going to kid you that skin lightening is going to go away. People have been bleaching since before my mother was born. We all have one auntie or the other. Some of our mothers are bleachers. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. But when you realize that it is just one of the problems that exist in our universe as skincare brand owners, then you realize that you don't have to make lightening products. It is a choice. Your entire range can be focused on acne. There's nothing wrong with that. Your entire range could be just for babies. That's fine. Your entire range could be for men. Nigerian men are so metrosexual. They like to look good. Make a product that focuses on men. You don't have to have 32 products, 56 products in your range. It is confusion. You don't have to have 6 different sizes for each product. Why? I mean, you can if you want to. This is just my personal opinion. The issue is find what works and stick to it. It is absolutely possible to have a range that deals with just hyperpigmentation. Once you master it and everybody knows that hyperpigmentation is what you do as a brand, you will blow. Now, you will also perfect it with time because that is the only thing you are thinking about. So when you're researching your raw materials, your additives, that's the only thing you're focused on. When people talk to you, that is what they will talk to you about. And in no time, you will become a master of hyperpigmentation and your brand becomes synonymous with it. You will not struggle to sell. So that's a way to balance ethics and profitability. It is doable. I am doing it. Natural Nigerian is doing. There are many brands that are doing it and have done it for years. So they keep asking for it. Does not mean you need to give it to them. A lot of us are mothers. Kids will ask for your left nostril. Are you going to give it to them? No. You give them what you have. They take it, they get used to it. They can test your boundaries every now and then. You stand firm. Once they get used to it, that this is what this person is going to give, they know you for it, and that's that. Everybody moves on. Now, the issue is be great at that thing you are doing to ensure that they keep coming back. It's as simple as that. I'm done, Sonny. Uh,
Thank you so
yeah.
much. Thank you. Ah, I
Thank you,
love
Sonny.
this. As in, you brought so much wisdom in one topic.
Thank you.
Um, I had to bring this, like I said, because I find that this skin lightening thing, like you said, it's not going to go away. But there are so many niches in the industry that we have to focus. We can focus on. There's I talked about baby care, but there's also mother care, pregnancy skin care. When people are pregnant, there are some skin. You have to
Your
make
skin
products
scatters.
tailored to
Mhm.
their skin scattered. And about you, they don't want to perceive anything, but they want to look good. Their neck is dark, their face is dark,
Mhm.
So there are so many niches to focus on. And then even sub niches. When it comes to baby skincare products, you can still, bring it down. They talk, what's it called? The blue ocean strategy. Or you need to find ways to you it mustn't just be skin lightening, really. Okay, please, does anyone have any questions so
There are
far
too
on
many other
everything that's
things.
said? Any questions? Any questions? Thank you. Uh, Adani that says, thank you so much, Aduni. Someone else says, wow, I love this so much. Okay, I'm grateful. Thank you, Aduni. I'm saying thank you on your behalf. I'm appreciating
Thank
them
you
on your
so
behalf.
much,
Okay,
Sonny. Thank you.
any more
Thank you. Thank
questions,
you.
please? Any more questions? Uh, I'm trying to see. Okay, in the absence of none, I guess I'm just going to bring up the next speaker. All right, Adini, thank you so much.
Thank
No
you so much,
questions. Well
Sonny.
understood.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So thank you, everyone. Our next speaker is Halima Bepo. I think she has. I've known Halima for quite a while, even though I'm not on a personal level. But I think she has a blog, or she once had a blog. Halima, you may need to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was a time that I used to read your blog posts, and this was years ago. You know, so Halima is coming to talk to us um, about the role of an esthetician in skincare. Let me see. Sorry. Hi, Halima.
Hi, morning, everybody.
Good morning. Please, I'm just going to leave the stage now for you to take over.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Morning, everyone. My name is Halima Beppo. As Somi said, yes, I used to have a blog years ago when I was at uni. I started off in the beauty industry from YouTube, actually. I think that was 2009. And I'm still in the beauty industry till date. So it's been a couple of years. So you're right, like Somi, I used to have a blog, which I stopped. Then I did YouTube, I stopped as well. I then became a makeup artist. And I did that for over 10 years. And I used to shuttle between England and Nigeria before I finally settled in England. Then 3 years ago, just at the start or just before COVID started, I decided I wanted to be an esthetician, which is what I am now. I'm qualified SIPTAC esthetician. I've been working as an esthetician for about 3 years, and last year, at the beginning of last year as well, I decided to launch my own beauty brand, which is called Beauty Bee, and I'll go into that later. Today, I'm just like briefly just talking about the role of estheticians in skincare, and I like that I'm coming after Aduni Organics because it just kind of ties in. The role as an esthetician, like just briefly, is just to guide customers, male or female, even kids. Sometimes because I treat teenagers, on how to go about their skincare concerns or skincare issues and when they should come to me. My role basically is just understanding the customers' problems. So how I do this is that when people come to me, is that I try to understand their lifestyle, their health, their budgets, what they're going through, what they've used before, if they have any like illnesses, because that really helps me understand how we're going to treat the skin. So this is where an esthetician comes in. So basically, if you are someone who is like having problems with your skin, I always say the first thing to do is actually go and see an esthetician first, even if because that way she can guide you, or I can guide you through how you should go about solving your skincare concerns. So coming to an esthetician to start off your skincare really, really helps keep track of everything you're doing and also progress. Because if you just go into a store and just buy anything over the counter and start using and you don't see results, you start to blame the products, whereas you haven't really dug deep into really, really what your problems are. Because sometimes people go into, like Ajuni said, and buy lightening products, but that's not what your skin needs, and that's not what, and they have reaction and they're worried and they're upset. I'm like, but that's not what your skin needed. If you're kind of person that is prone to acne, you might have to because acne is one of those things that people think you can cure. You can't actually cure acne. You can only maintain it because it's just one of those incurable things. So coming to an esthetician, assuming you have acne, is just sitting down and figuring out what actually even triggers your acne. What are the things you eat? What are your stress levels? What are your products that you're using? So this is where an esthetician will come in, just to help you build a routine to help you manage your acne. I don't want to say cure your acne, manage your acne in a way that suits you and not suits your favorite influencer on Instagram. So that's the role of an esthetician. And I don't know what to say next. That's the role of an esthetician. And sometimes being an esthetician, especially in Nigeria, because I've only been doing it for about 3 years, it's a bit difficult because people have now listen more to what they see online and do what they see online. So my role is very, very tedious because I have to convince people to stop what they're currently doing, especially if I feel is bad for them, and do it the way I feel will give them better results and also be cost effective, because now with Nigeria, everything's about pricing. So that's that. And also, also another role that I play is also trying to create treatment plans in clinic as an esthetician. So it's not only about recommending products, it's also about having a routine for people to come in and do their treatment. So it can be things from chemical peels, microneedling, just a regular reset facial, because people always think the thing that will fix all their skin problems, for example, is a chemical peel. And sometimes I may never even give them a chemical peel because they might not even need it. But because they've seen everybody else getting it on the internet, they feel that, okay, the first appointment with me is going to be chemical peel. That's definitely not going to happen with me. Sometimes you just need a little bit of light therapy and just get you on your right routine and just do a normal regular facial just to reset the skin. So my role has different phases and stages in how I treat skin. Apart from that, after you come to an esthetician, it's also very important to stick to your routine, and if you would like to introduce any more products, like let's say you want to get Aduni, and because I know well about Aduni and I'm a esthetician, Aduni Organics, I would say, okay, don't get this, get this, get that. She has a line that suits, like a range that suits your products, that suits your concerns. So those are like my rules to just help guide individuals on how to take care of their skin better. And I think that's all I have to say today. Sorry. Hope it wasn't too short.
No, it wasn't. Thank you so much, Halima. So, Makandi skincare therapist. Sorry, I had to speak Igbo. To those people that put skincare therapist people. These big. I actually wanted you to come and talk about this because I find that in especially here in Nigeria, we do not know, a lot of people do not know their place. You know, when as a skincare, you own a skincare brand, you should know when to refer to an esthetician. There are some forms of acne that just your own skincare product might not deal with. And then
Yes.
at that point, you may need to refer to an esthetician.
Yes.
You know, and so because now everybody is saying that when you say skincare therapist, clinically formulated, and so I find that we do not know a lot of people don't know where to draw the line. So
Yes, they
at
don't.
what point as a brand owner, when should you tell the person that, you know what, I can't do this, please just go to an esthetician?
I
Or
think
is there a way that an esthetician can work with brands, to
so.
help a client achieve their goals?
Yeah,
Skincare
so
therapist.
it's very it's because of the way. So for example, a lot of the brands I work with, especially the ones I have in my clinic, are very esthetician led. So they're very science
Okay.
based. So like you guys, like cosmetic science. So they've done their research. They've been in the business for like 100 years, 50 years. So they've made their brands very esthetician led brands. And basically what
Okay.
that is that it makes it easier for somebody like me to go and train with them, learn about their products, learn about their brand. But the difference between, and I'm not trying to like step on anybody's neck, but the difference with
Yeah.
Nigerian brands is that they, once they create brands, they just go straight to the customers. They don't think, so they bypass the estheticians or the skin therapists. So which makes it very difficult for people like me to know about the other brands because they haven't really, it's not really, it's more of a B2C type of brand. So it makes it very, very,
Yeah.
very, very hard for people like me to know, go and buy from this person, go and buy from that person. I can't recommend, mostly, like, it's only very few Nigerian brands I can recommend, and that's because I've known the owners for years, and I know what they get up to. So it's very difficult for me to say, oh, get this brand, get that brand. And I feel like it's a thing that there's a gap between estheticians, and because it's just an industry that I feel is still coming up and we're still trying to understand, like Aduni Organics, we are battling, the lightning people in the middle that are promoting lightning products.
Yeah.
So that they're like a barrier between us. But I just feel like it's a thing of estheticians now have to like collaborate with other brands that are like ethically sourced, like they're done properly. And also, if you're, the best time for me, I feel, to come to an esthetician is actually before you go and buy products. It's so that
Okay.
way. And if maybe, because sometimes when I do consultations first, I always, some clients already have brands that they're using and brands that they would like to use. So I don't stop them. So I just, okay, what's, if I don't know anything about the brand, we go through it together. Like, oh, don't get this, get this, get that. So they might want a cleanser and they
Okay.
really like, they've been reading about it. And I have to go back and read about it. I'm like, okay, yes, we can add that to your routine. So I always tell clients, if you would like to add any product to your routine, let me know. So I tell you where to fit it in. So it's very difficult, but Nigerians just go and just buy stuff for buying sake, and they're like, oh, I'm spending so much money. Like, you're spending so much money because you're not listening to me. And
Yeah.
so it makes it's such a
I get
difficult,
you.
it's such a difficult thing to, and because I'm still, I don't like to say new, because I'm still understanding the environment, it makes it very, very difficult for you to change their perspective of what they're doing, because
Yeah.
Nigerians, as long as it's not like me, it's not working.
I get you.
As
So
long as
one quick.
they don't get instant gratification, it's not working. So it's very, 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 very,
Yeah.
very hard to know when to do these things.
Yeah. Okay. So I was going to ask one quick question. Is it possible
Mhm.
that you look at an ingredient list, and from that ingredient list you can have an idea of what this product if this product is going to suit this client or not as an
Oh yeah, so
esthetician?
which is why I was saying sometimes when like some of the brands I carry, we always have to do training with them. And you basically
Okay.
have to, because and most of the brands I carry are plant-based because I prefer plant-based things because I feel like it works better for the kind of clients I get. So obviously,
Mm.
and obviously in esthetician school, in beauty school, we have to learn like ingredients and when and which ones fit each other. So which is why I always say when some clients say, "Oh, I'm using this," I'm like, "Please, can you bring when we're doing a consultation?" Because the first steps with me is a consultation. Like, can you bring everything?
Yeah.
I don't care if it's finished. Just pack everything you have in your house and bring it. Let's see. Let's because that way I
You
can
can have an
tell
idea.
I have an idea because sometimes you can have people with who have cystic acne and they're using things that are quite like emollient and is oily, it's leaving like an oil sheen. Like, oh, but I like the way it feels. Like you like the way it feels, but it's clogging your skin, and that's not what you need.
Yeah. I
So
get you.
so learning about the ingredients in the product is one of like the major ways. Like you can't even pass the exam without learning about it.
Yeah.
So
Just
yes, you do have to know about, and which is why, like, cosmetics like scientists, this is how we all like know each other. Like you guys, when you make stuff, you're like, oh, this is what is in it. And I think Natural Nigeria mentioned that brands are supposed to tell you what is in your products, what is in their product.
exactly.
Because if I don't
Absolutely.
know, I can't recommend it.
Absolutely. Every brand should say and list exactly what's in their product, because I think that here estheticians are doing one thing, and it's as if estheticians so when we say are constantly um, let me not say battling let me not say cosmetic scientists, maybe let's say
Mhm.
mixers, because now
Mhm.
mixologists, they've made it difficult to draw the line. We don't know, you don't know who is who, so they come and say, oh, like I've seen some influencers come to say things like, oh, don't use black soap at all, and black soap is not good, or don't use this vitamin C at all. I'm just saying, generalizing.
Mhm.
However,
Mhm.
as a cosmetic scientist, I see our role as let's say the doctor and pharmacist. The doctor
Mhm.
prescribes, the pharmacist
Yes. Yes.
formulates, knows
Yes.
how to compound. So we should actually work hand in hand to make products to
Which is how
that would help
globally
them.
how it works, because which is why like I rather deal with brands that have been in the industry for a long time. Not to sound snobbish or anything, I just rather work with
Yes,
people
I
that
get you.
have done like you guys, their work. I know that they test, I know there's like research backing it, I know that it's
Mm,
result driven. So if you're just coming and just mixing things in a barrel,
mm,
of course I'm not going to recommend your
of
products to my
course.
clients.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much, Halima. I think that
You're
what any
welcome.
every formulator, cosmetic chemist, scientist should take away from this is that we should learn to do better, formulate our products well, and also know when to
I
refer
think
the
it's not also
clients.
their fault because sorry to cut you short, it's not also their fault. So being in Nigeria for the last couple of years, we lack the regulation. That's just it. So
Sure.
people get away with murder. So it's deeper than cosmetic science doing the right things, deeper than consumers knowing the right thing. It's basically lack of regulation, and because we just get away with a lot of things in Nigeria, whether we like to, let's call it spade is spade. So it is
Mm,
brands can go and do the all the things they need to do, but because of the way the country is, somebody can just go read your ingredient list and just say, oh, I can do it myself, and it's cheaper. And what you now see, you now find consumers
yeah.
buying from them instead of you've actually done all the correct steps, and for some reason they get enough that can you don't.
Mm.
So it's so
Let's not
there's
even go
so much
into that.
depth to it that we can't just only blame one person. There's so many people that we have to look into,
Yeah.
and I think as an industry, we're not we're not at the stage where we're in sync with each other. So
Mm,
which is why people like me get a lot of customers that I have to correct, which is why people like you also get brands that you always have to correct their formulas or redo their formulas to get the right
mm,
recipe. Do you understand? So it's very, very broad,
Okay, so
But
somebody's asking a question. If Mama says, "Can I drop an ingredient list for you to analyze with your esthetician knowledge?" For instance, I think that no, we can't do it here, and
You
you
can't
may
do
need
that
to
here.
you can't do that here, and I think you may need to send her a DM, and if that's a
You can send me
service
a
you offer,
message.
yes, please.
I don't offer like ingredients. I'm not an so basically this is that question is more for the scientist, not for me because I don't formulate products.
Mm, true.
So can I drop an ingredient list to
So
help
do you mean analyze based on if it can help somebody, or like if it can help deal with a skin condition?
Yeah, that's what
Analyze
I'm
in
about
what
to ask
aspect?
as well.
Yeah.
So
So it
if
depends
that's
on
if
what you
that's what
mean
you
by
want, the
analyze.
scientists are your friends. So me
Yeah.
and natural Nigerian.
Okay.
That's not my
Thank
role.
you so much. Thank
Thank
you,
you. It was nice. It
Habiba.
was nice
Thank
speaking
you.
to you guys. Thank you.
Same here. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. All right. Bye. Okay, so the next speaker that's coming up, let's see. Is she here? Yeah, her name is Dr. Chizo, but I'm sure a lot of you people know her as the Beauty Harbor. Dr. Chizo is a renowned international development specialist and a skincare consultant dedicated to boosting self confidence and debunking skin bleaching myths, while advocating for empowerment through her best selling book, Skincare Simplified. So I'll just bring her, she'll just come on stage now to talk to us briefly. Hi, Dr. Chizo, welcome.
Yes, hi.
Uh,
I hope you guys can hear
now,
me.
yes, we can hear you. So we're going to leave this. I'm going to mute myself now and then have you take over the stage.
Okay, how do I do my presentation?
You may need to upload. Hold on. You'll find the um so you'll find a place there where you have to present. You'll see a sorry, hold on please. So you'll find on your screen, you'll see present there, and then you can upload your slides there and we'll see it. Have you uploaded your slides already?
Yes, the slides have already been uploaded.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that's my bad. I think that's me. Okay, it's here. You can
Okay.
go on.
Oh,
Thank
all
you.
right, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm so excited to do this presentation with you guys, and some of the things that the previous presenters have just talked about will feed into this presentation. So to introduce myself, my name is Dr. Chizo. I'm the CEO and founder of Beauty Harbor. I'm a medical doctor. I have an MBA and an MPH. However, skincare has always been something that I've been interested in, because sometime in my 20s, I developed cystic acne by using one of the magic creams unknowingly. And it sort of led me into trying to understand what the heck was going on with my skin. And I'm sure that you can imagine it was pre Instagram, it was pre Facebook, it was pre the internet as we know it today. And currently, I have a blog called Beauty Harbor, and I have over like 100K readers. I've worked with hundreds of women one on one, consulting with them on their skin. And my goal is to basically demystify skincare and make it simple so that people are able to do what is right for their skin and not get into trouble trying to do what we know that we love to do. So I'm talking about skin bleaching when I say so that they don't do what they love to do. And the focus is on skin bleaching. Now, before I go into the ethics of it, I want to talk about the scale of the problem, because we need to know what we're dealing with before we can sort of think about what are we going to solve. So when we're talking about the scale of the problem, roughly about 40% of people in Africa are bleaching. So we can see that almost half of the African population is bleaching, and it's a global phenomenon. Anywhere you see people who are melanated, they are bleaching. Like, unfortunately, that is what comes with the program. And if you look at the countries that have been surveyed, Nigeria unfortunately has the dubious honor of being the number one when it comes to skin bleaching with 77%. Followed by South Africa, and these are results from the WHO. So we have a huge problem. All right. So I want to talk about some of the ethical concerns when it comes to the surrounding the sale of skin bleaching products. And I'm going to look at it in a two-pronged way. I'll look at it from the position of the person doing the selling and those of us who are the customers who are also requesting for these products, because one does not exist without the other. When there is a demand, there is going to be a supply, and that's how things work. All right. So I want to talk about how did we get there? Why is bleaching such a huge part of our psyche? Like Aduni was saying, we know people in our mother's generation that were bleaching. We know the ones in our generation that are bleaching, and their children who are bleaching as well. And basically, the reason we got here is an offshoot of colonization. Because of the fact that most of the countries who are melanated were colonized, we developed what I like to call the white is right phenomenon. The closer you are to whiteness, the righter you are. So if somebody is white, even if the person is talking absolute nonsense and the person is speaking with a nice accent, you'll see us nodding like agama lizards, agreeing with whatever rubbish the person is saying. And that has now led into what we in the Black community is fondly known as colorism, where the fairer people in the community are seen as prettier, they are seen as more intelligent, they are just seen as better generally. And this preference for lighter skin can affect self-esteem. It affects the perceptions of beauty. You see somebody who is, like my mother would say, is not fine in the face, but because the person is fair, the person becomes automatically pretty. It also has a social impact because it can affect people's economic opportunities. There are banks that we know about that will say they are looking for fair-skinned people when they are looking for marketers. And if you're a woman and you want a job, and the reason you haven't gotten a job is not your qualification but your complexion, then that's a problem. And the skincare industry in general has taken advantage of African women's insecurities. All right. So I thought, let me share this quote that I found about that was given by a South African singer. And she said, I've been dark-skinned for many years and I want to experience the other side. I wanted to see what it would be like to be white, and I'm happy. So this is somebody who is well known, and this is what somebody is saying. It's a problem. All right. So I wanted to talk about some of the ethical concerns and go through. There are two main ways that it affects us, ethically or psychologically, however you want to look at it. So there's the psychological effects, and then there are the physical effects or the physical risks. Now, psychologically, is that feeling of wrongness, feeling as if you're in the wrong body, feeling that you're wrong when you're dark. When you talk to, I don't know if anybody can remember that viral clip of a little girl whose hair was being braided, and the lady asked her a question and she said, I'm ugly. And the woman was just shocked and she was like, no, you're not ugly. But she said, no, I'm ugly, because she was dark. This is a child that is a toddler, essentially. So that feeling of wrongness inside yourself, you're just wrong because you're dark. I want you to imagine what that will be like when that child, as that child is growing up, will that person take opportunities? What sort of things will she be forced to do or coerced into doing because she just feels wrong or feels inferior? That also feeds into that perception of low self-perception, low self-esteem. I'm dark, I'm ugly, that means I can't do hard things. I'm dark, I'm ugly, that means I'm not bright. It affects everything. And when you have a country where 77% of people or women are bleaching and they feel low, what are we going to do societally? Nobody's going to be innovative. You're talking about, we want to solve a NEPA problem. Is it the person that is thinking that she's ugly or he's ugly because they are dark that is going to bring a solution to the, infrastructural problems in the society? No, they are not. And another thing is social exclusion. As a society in general, that one is an Blackie. She's this ugly child. So even as a society, we are excluding the people who are most like us because they don't look the way we want them to be. And I'm going to explain how that also feeds in. Then there's also cultural brainwashing and erasure of ourselves. We are Black people. Black people are supposed to be dark. So when you're basically removing all the markers of who you are, starting with your skin, what does it do to us as a collective, psychically, where you're looking at yourself in general, and all of us think we're ugly and we're wrong? there's a problem. So when we talk about, oh, the country is bad, we need to improve, blah, 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 I always tell people we're not going anywhere when we hate the way we look. You cannot think you are wrong. You cannot think you're ugly. And then you think that the general country is going to improve. No, you don't see your worth. So we're not going anywhere if we don't address these issues. Then when we talk about the physical risk or the physical challenges, some of them we know there's kidney damage, there's liver damage, dermatitis, discoloration, allergic reactions, and even skin cancer. So it's a range depending on how long people have done this, and it's a problem. All right. So I wanted to also talk about some of the ethical concerns when it comes to the offering of skin bleaching products by cosmetics or products or brands. And I've broken them down into sort of 4 different categories. And the first one is informed consent. Now, absolutely, there are people who want to bleach their skins. They are determined to bleach their skin, but there is a lack of transparency on the ingredients that are in these products. So some of the things that are used in bleaching are things like mercury, corticosteroids, high doses of hydroquinone. Do these people know what is in this container, their bleaching products? If they knew, would they make a different decision? Are they being told about some of the side effects that are going to be that they can get, so that somebody who has decided to bleach can say, okay, yes, I want to bleach my skin. Okay, I know that this thing contains mercury. I know mercury can cause aplastic anemia. I still want to go ahead. So people need to have informed consent. The second part is the health risks. If they're not informed about what could happen, are they really making the choice, or are they sort of being pushed inside this thing, and just being pushed that, oh, it's going to bleach, don't worry, you're just going to look fine, all that sort of thing. So what is the responsibility of the companies to the consumer, to telling them what it is, what they are signing up for? And then the other thing is promotion of unrealistic beauty standards. You go on a billboard and you're seeing somebody who is so fair that the person almost looks mixed race, when half of the population is not even close to that complexion. That does not make sense in a predominantly Black country. We should not be putting those sort of billboards up there of people who do not look like us. There is a particular advertisement by a telecommunications company that will remain unnamed, where you see 2 mothers, one is dark, one is light skinned, and the dark skinned mother is being made to look as if she is bush. She's the one that doesn't seem to know anything. She's the one that is ugly with the bad makeup. So we're promoting something that is not right, and we're promoting unrealistic standards of beauty that nobody that is African can actually meet. And then again, is exploitation of insecurities. Like you're making people feel bad, you're giving them a bad impression about themselves, you're making them just feel terrible, and then it's now causing marginalization. So there's going to be self-marginalization because I'm dark, I'm ugly. If I even go for this position, will they give it to me? No. I beg, I'm not even going to apply. I'm not pretty enough. So the person has pushed themselves out. Or I'm Black, okay, let me try. And the person goes and they still don't give it to the person. So we are doing a lot of damage in both ways. All right. So the other part that I wanted to talk about is the ethics with children. Now, I've gotten to the point in my career, because I've talked about this skin bleaching for a long time, where if you as a woman decide to bleach and you want to end your life, I really don't care. Feel free, bleach yourself to oblivion. Where I really, really get enraged is when people bleach their children. And I'm seeing it repeatedly. I'm seeing it all the time, and it's becoming a problem. I mean, a lot of skincare groups, and this is just a scourge. So these are just some examples that I pulled. So somebody is saying here, asking in this skincare group, please, what lotion can I use for a 2-year-old girl? I'm tired of buying Funbact every week. So this mother is using Funbact A, which is a triple action cream, an antibacterial, a corticosteroid, and an antifungal on her 2-year-old child, and has been obviously using it for 2 years. And I got a response with somebody saying that she has a lot of mothers who come to her with children that have huge stretch marks because their mothers have been bleaching them. If you go online, there are several doctors who have posted about 7-year-olds coming up with nephrotic syndrome because their kidneys have been completely shot when it comes to bleaching, because their mothers are bleaching them. Now, children cannot give informed consent. They depend on their mothers, they depend on their health, on their primary caregivers to make those choices for them. And if it's not right that their parents are putting them into this into this position. It's not okay. So when it comes to children, this is a hard line. If you as an adult want to bleach yourself, we have those laws on the books. People insist on doing them. If you have a company that wants to do them, fine. But the line should really be drawn with children. All right. So, like I said, I wanted to approach these ethics in two ways. I want to talk about industry challenges, and I want to talk about it from the point of the consumer. Now, one of the challenges is that, so let me start this way. The skin bleaching industry is thought to be about, I think it's 31 billion US dollars, and is expected to grow. Now, when you have a market that is this size, it's not going anywhere. So if you as a formulator, you're a brand, and you're seeing this money, literally it's dollar signs, like Aduni said, you're leaving money on the table. It is very, 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 very tempting for people. The size of the market is huge. It is increasing every year. So that is a challenge. The second challenge is increasing westernization. If we were in our little bubbles where we're only seeing ourselves, you're only seeing Black people on the screen, like we had the benefits of in the 80s or in the early 90s, you're not going to be comparing yourself to somebody who is fairer skinned because you're only seeing yourself. But with increasing westernization, our children are watching, what is those ones? Is it Paw Patrol, all those children's programs, whatever. They are seeing other images that are not them. And it's going to make their perceptions of beauty distorted. That's an issue. Poorly enforced regulation. I checked online. NAFDAC has regulation, I think since 2019, saying that skin bleaching is illegal. How are they going to enforce it? Who are they going to report to? And then the fourth thing is that the consistent supply of customers. Just because, like, the market size is huge, it's because of the consistent customers. We have people who are willing, able to bleach. So is that thing about demand and supply. All right. So let's talk about the consumer challenges. I'm looking at it from the side of the consumer. So first of all, there's a lack of awareness of side effects. As much as people want to bleach, I don't think they are fully aware of what they are signing up for. Yes, they want to bleach their skin. Do they know their kidneys are going to fail? I'm not sure. Do they know that they can develop tropical steroid withdrawal symptom? Not quite sure. So the consumers are not really aware of some of these side effects, and that's a challenge. There's loss of social status. You were bleaching before, you were fair and white, or malichanwa, or however it is we call it, yellow, whatever, and you go darker, loss of social status, you're no more where you were before. Withdrawal symptoms for people who use steroids to bleach their skin. I have a lot of clients that come to me. It is hell when they are trying to get off these steroids, absolute hell. So a lot of them try, then they go back. They try, then they go back. If they're not even aware of what to expect, it's a huge, huge problem, especially when they've used this for a long period of time. And then we also need to talk about social and cultural consideration. It's just like loss of social status. And when you're in an environment that encourages this, that approves of it, there are no incentives for you to change. All right. Now, I wanted to talk about, I didn't want to just leave us with all doom and gloom. I wanted to use cigarette smoking as a jumping off point to say that, yes, it is a problem. Yes, it is huge, but it can actually change. And it has been done in the past, and it has been done for something that is just as egregious as skin bleaching, an industry that is just as popular, just as money-making, and they were able to make a difference. And that was cigarettes. Now, in the past, or in the 50s, when cigarettes first came out, it was seen as cool, it was edgy, it was physician-approved, it was socially acceptable. You could smoke in airplanes, you could smoke in restaurants, all that good stuff. It was even recommended as, dieting, a dieting aid. We had Virginia Slims for women, all of that. But something changed. Sometime in, I think it was maybe the mid-90s or something, people realized that cigarettes were an absolute horror. And then it changed. What happened? The perception of cigarette smoking went down the toilet. It was seen as extremely unhealthy, completely socially unacceptable. If you see somebody smoking, you're looking at the person like, are you okay? Nobody is going to allow you smoke in a public place. It was banned. Even in offices, you cannot smoke. It was said that it was completely dangerous to health of people. And they said it really, really clearly on their packaging. They made it visible. They made it there. So that if you decide to buy a cigarette and you see a grotesque picture of somebody with lung cancer and you go ahead and buy it and you smoke, that's on you. All right. So these are some of the examples of warnings that are put in front of cigarette packages. It can cause head and neck cancer. It can cause fatal lung disease, all of that. This is what we can do to skin bleaching products. We can do this as well so that we can change the perception of what it is and what it does to individuals. All right. So what's the way forward? So I've said what is currently happening now. I've said what has been done in the past to with using cigarettes as an example. What can we do? Now, when it comes to, and I want to use a two-pronged approach with the consumer and within the industry. So when it comes to the consumer, we need to do a lot of consumer education. A lot of people don't know. What are these ingredients? What are the side effects? Can they look at the labels and say, this thing is there, this is a problem? So a lot of consumer education, a lot of campaigns about the side effects, what they can expect, how dangerous it is. We also need to educate the consumer about, okay, if you see this thing, how do you report? Like I said, there are agencies. NAFDAC is, NAFDAC is questionable sometimes, but they are trying to do a lot. It is illegal in Nigeria for you to have a skin bleaching product. However, how do you report if you find it? What are the relevant agencies doing? Do customers know how to report? Is it easy for them to report? What are the changes? How can we change societal norms when it comes to regarding complexion? I have a really extreme view when it comes to that. Personally, I believe that if we want to change societal norms, there needs to be laws when it comes to advertisement I think, to literally ban using certain complexions of people that are not in the majority within the country, because what we're trying to do is positive reinforcement. We need to do that for a number of years so that we change the psyche. We also need to do a lot of consumer education on their rights so that if their skin is damaged and they sue, it's not a good incentive. If 10 people whose skin have been damaged by your product and they are suing you and they get good settlements and your business is collapsing, after a while, it's not going to be really convenient for you to be making these dangerous skin bleaching products. Then let's talk about the industry. We need to have more ethical marketing guidelines. If you're targeting people with skin bleaching, products, the same way that the cigarette industry has to put that it's dangerous, has to put some of these side effects, it must be there. Of course, targeting of children. Anybody who is targeting children should have, obviously, in my opinion, should be arrested immediately. We also need better enforcement of regulations. We need better consumer protection laws. Again, like I said, extremely punitive laws if it's used on children. We need to improve access to reporting. We need to put product disclaimers and labeling. So it needs to be very clear what is in this thing and what will it do to you. So these are some of the ways that this can be tackled. All right. Now, public health implications. I know that I've said that, we're having increasing cases of things like kidney failure, liver damage, all the works. With a struggling health system that can barely manage the average illnesses that we have, there's likely to be a collapse and overwhelm of the health system from the diseases that are going to be coming in the next 5 to 10 years. If you're bleaching a 2-year-old now, by the time that child is 7, her kidneys are going to go. We do not have the capacity to manage all of that. So these are some of the public health implications when it comes to skin bleaching. All right, so that's all I really wanted to talk about when it came to the ethics of skin bleaching. And if you want to reach me, I'm available on Instagram at Beauty Harbor, and my blog is also beautyharbor.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chizo, for this session. Skin bleaching is something that has eaten so deep, and I hope that and I pray that someday we'll be able to deal with this. And even though, like you said, even if it's not going anywhere anytime soon, people should know the implications of what they are getting into. And especially when it comes to children, now they now disguise it's now disguised under glow. I don't know what you need a child to why you need a child to glow. I don't know. Now it's no longer called skin bleaching. It's now they'll tell you something to make your baby glow. How can I my baby's getting dark? How do I her complexion is dull? I want her to glow. And sometimes even mothers, request for these sorts of products, which was why in my session I was trying to explain that we need to understand the structural differences between a baby's skin and an and adult skin, and that way we'll be able to make better informed choices. Please, does anyone have any questions on this particular session? Um, Someone said most of my okay. Oh, Desire, I think she's a baby care product. She says most of the consumers are aware. I have many mothers who have tried counseling. They asked me if it's my skin or my child. Wow, woo, wow,
Yeah.
woo.
There was a mother
Um,
who literally was
Someone says
insulted for daring to tell her that it was dangerous for her child.
wonderful. Someone said Nigeria doesn't care. They are 5 and 6 with bleaching products. I also think that, like Beauty Hub already said, some people don't know the real implications, of this product. They don't know what comes along with bleaching. You know, I with all this caramel glow and all of that, they make it seem as if what's it called? You just bleach, and when you want to stop, you stop. They don't tell people the main thing, like the main side effects that these things come with. I have somebody, I know someone, um even though we're not so close, like family, that died from skin bleaching. Like, she had kidney issues. By the time she was admitted to the hospital, she's still having bed sores. The surgery wounds were not healing. There were so many things, and it just got complicated. But and this was then in our mother's time, because they bleached with all those tubes, Tura, and all of that. Now they are now using main mercury. They are using the steroids directly.
Yeah.
And then the sad thing is that then they were in tubes, so you could say, oh, these were bleaching products. Now they now put them in bottles, add coconut oil with essential oils, and call it organic. So it's even
Mm.
really sad, because, and then you ask somebody that what's making their skin, why are they like, well, like, what's their active ingredient? They tell you licorice or turmeric. you know so this is something that we need to really talk more about. Thank you so much, Beauty Harbor. Does anyone have any questions before we bring up the next speaker comes up? Okay, in the absence of none, if there's any questions, you can drop it. We'll probably answer it in the Q&A session. Thank you so much, Dr. Chizo. Thank you. All right. So our next speaker, let me see. Our next speaker is cosmetic formulator depot. Kike Lomo Agada. She's an experienced cosmetic formulator and entrepreneur who founded Cosmetic Formulator Depot Limited, providing raw materials to indie brands and offering consulting, sourcing, and manufacturing services to major brands over her 9-year career. Now, if you follow me, if you've been if you've ever attended any of my classes, or if you're on any of my platforms, when you ask me, show me, where am I going to get ingredients from? The first place I'm going to tell you to go to is Cosmetic Formulator Depot. And this is not out of bias. Nigerian suppliers have shown me shaggy. Somebody has sold salt to me as salicylic acid. Someone has sold sodium lactate to me as lactic acid. Thank God for the knowledge of testing the physical chemical properties of ingredients. If not, I wouldn't know. I'll just be making it and I'll think that something is wrong with my product. I've been sold magnesium stearate as glyceryl stearate. I can go on and on. I remember someone sold L-ascorbic acid to me in place of mandelic acid. My products kept on oxidizing. I was like, but there's nothing that oxidizes in my product, so why is it changing color? I was running stability tests. Give it 2 weeks. It won't even be up to 2 weeks. It will discolor. So there are so many things. And then even I now hear that people quarrel with you when you ask them for documentations in this country, and even insult you. It's really sad. So our next speaker, Cosmetic Formulator Depot, is going to come and talk to us about raw materials, storage, handling, maybe testing, and a lot of things we need to know about cosmetic raw materials. So she's coming on stage now. Hi, Kike. Can you hear me? Are you with us?
Hi,
Hello?
Somis. I'm here. I can hear you. I'm here.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to leave the stage for you to take over. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to have you all here. My name is Kike, and I own Cosmetic Formulator Depot. I'm the lead formulator there. We've been at it for about 8 to 9 years, and it was born out of passion and frustration after starting my skincare brand, Beauty Botanica, and I couldn't get access to anything. Even when I tried, I got rubbish. So I said, okay, I'm bringing in everything for myself by myself. And then I was added to a couple of groups. People ask, oh, where can I get this? I'm like, oh, I have. I just give them out for free. Then it became a business. So today we'll be talking about the management of cosmetic raw materials. We all know that your raw materials and ingredients play the most important role in your product. When you're creating your product from start to finish, it is very important that you source right, you buy right, and you use right. Okay, so it's very easy for us to overlook small details when we are producing this, when we are making and developing our products. Little infractions here and there will cost you, and it will cost you big time. My job as a supplier is really to just help you eradicate those errors as much as possible in the way that I know how. And I always encourage other suppliers to do same. And even you as a formulator, when making your purchase, shine your eye. Look out for credible people. We are quite a few on this Obasanjo's internet that really know what we are doing. And I don't hesitate to refer. If where I cannot meet up, I'll say, oh, go to so person. She knows what she's doing. You can buy from her with your full chest. Okay, so as I said, our job is just to help you step by step eradicate any formulation issues that may come up. And I always advise develop a relationship with your supplier. It's very important. A lot of people that purchase raw materials from me are my friends now. As in, that was how I met Somis, how I met Natural Nigerian. Almost everybody that follows me has become my friend. So that beyond buying and selling, there are other things that we can still do together. Okay, so first thing I'll talk about is quality control. It's very important that your supplier, when you're choosing a supplier, that you can attest to their GMP. Natural Nigerian had mentioned the importance of GMP before, and it applies to both formulator and supplier. It's very important that you choose someone that is credible, that knows what he or she is doing. From how they package to their workspace, all these things are very, very important. You also have to ensure that your supplier can be assessed quality-wise based on what they supply you. This one is also for manufacturers. I, as a purchaser from the manufacturer and to the formulator that buys from me, I make sure that I buy some, in fact, not all my ingredients, well vetted, scrutinized, to make sure that I'm buying the right thing and I'm supplying you the right thing. Record keeping for the formulator, very important. I will use an example of avocado oil. Oh, I bought avocado oil from Jumia. It's very green. I bought your own, it's golden. What's I don't know. There was nothing wrong with my formulation, but this is how it came. Why is your own different? If you had recorded, if you did not pay attention to what it looked like, you will not be able to bring it up. Whoever you are buying raw materials from should be someone that can be scrutinized and be held accountable. Very important. Can explain to you, oh, why does this one look like this? Why is it different from this? Okay. And then you on your own part as a formulator, you need to carry out periodic inspection. If you bought something for a while and you haven't used it, please toss it. There's no point keeping these things, past their shelf life and start asking, okay, can I use this thing? I didn't open it, but it says this. Yes, there are some ingredients that I will say, okay, go ahead and use, but really, if it looks off, feels off, throw it away. Even if you haven't used it, throw it away. It will cost you. So we're going on to storage. Whoever you are buying your raw materials from, as I said, it should be someone that you can hold by the neck and say, come, this thing you sold to me, BM. Okay. What do we do? How do we go about it? My job as a supplier is to go back, check what I sold. Does it match? Did it not match? And prefer a solution. We also carry out periodic inventory. Anything we have had that has exceeded its shelf life, we throw it away many times. You count your loss, you move on. That's what we practice. Okay. And this also means you as a formulator should do same. I already explained the previous slide. Organize and label your raw materials properly. When we ship items to you, I and many suppliers, we ship with proper labeling. When we ship it, it can come off. When you receive it, after a while of usage, it can come off. I always advise formulators, look, if the label is fading, quickly relabel, so that you don't start sending a message like, sorry, this thing, what does it look like? Does it look like, I have a customer that always does this. Okay, is this thing cocoa capulate? I have to now start checking when she bought, what she bought, and then so that to prevent all these things, really. If you label right, don't leave the job to only your supplier. You too do your own part. Okay. Another thing I'll talk about is the packaging that your products come in. There are certain materials that shouldn't be packed in certain containers. The one that we're very, very familiar with is essential oils. They say, oh, don't package in PET bottle, don't package in this, don't package in that. My advice is package in glass for essential oils or aluminum canisters. There are certain solvents I had to learn the hard way that you don't package some solvents in certain materials. They will break the plastic, they will melt it, all sorts. And it usually happens in transit. So imagine receiving your items and see that everything has spilled and messed up every other thing in your order. Okay, so another thing is the storage of your raw materials. They're usually the ones that require strict storage conditions. I'll use an example of hemp seed oil. When we receive hemp seed oil, first of all, we don't even buy it in large quantity because of the ridiculously short shelf life. We refrigerate. It stays there until we finish selling out that stock. When you receive it, if you're not going to use it up immediately, do same. So most of my customers, when they buy this, I always tell them, oh, please, do this, do that. And everybody's fine and happy from there. Okay, so we're going to be talking about documents that should accompany every raw material that you buy. A reliable supplier owes you these things. They are supposed to provide it to you on demand. Some people make it readily available even before you place the order. They're already sending it to you. I send to you on demand. If you request for it, I don't hesitate to send it out. Okay, so the first thing on this is the safety, so that you know how to handle it when it arrives your place, what to do, how to store it, how to maintain it and keep it in optimum condition. Okay. There was a case of she bought benzoyl peroxide from a vendor and it exploded. They didn't warn her that it was going to happen, but it documents. If you get the right documents, it will be listed there clearly what to do, what not to do. Another example is lye.
Okay, you went off for a while.
Oh, sorry, can you hear me now?
Hello. I think the network is bad. I don't know if it's.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me,
me?
please? Please let me know
Yes,
if you
I
can
can.
hear me. I
I
want to
can
be
hear you.
sure that I want. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think the network. Please check your network. I think it's breaking.
MTN is doing the most. Okay. So I was using the example of shipping benzoyl peroxide without mentioning that it can explode. It happened to someone that I knew, a friend. She was asking her, does this happen? I said, yes. So the person that sold it to you should have told you that. Another thing is lye. If you do your own assessment, even the safety sheet for lye won't tell you, do not pour water into lye or lye into water. Those ones are things that we experience along the way, and we tell them verbally, or as the need arises, we just let them know that, oh, this is how to store it, this is what to do. Now, with documentation, a lot of Nigerian vendors are very strict with giving out information. I don't know what they're afraid of, but I think it also comes from maybe not knowing about these documents, information that is available to them. Please, as a formulator, ask your vendors for SDS sheets, ask for TDS, ask for certificates of analysis, ask for everything that can come with your raw material. Ask, because you need to know about these documents. You need to know about what you are buying. Some of these documents help you to test the quality of what you are getting. For example, you buy niacinamide and they tell you, oh, 1%, if you dissolve it in water, should give you a pH of 7. You buy the niacinamide, they send you the document, you pour the niacinamide 1% in your water and it's giving you a pH of 12. Obviously, something is wrong. It's only that document that can let you know that you're not getting the right thing. If the material you bought dissolved and you didn't check the pH, you will never know until your final formulation or your finished product starts to misbehave or is not looking the way it's supposed to look. That's where you now start saying that, oh, what did I do? You start tracing, going back to see where you went wrong. These documents show you the cast number, they show you the inky, what it is made up of. Another example is like silky earwax. Everybody is selling silky earwax. Not many people know that various silky earwax carried by various vendors have different INCIs. Some have cetearyl alcohol with glyceryl, ceterate 25, ceterate 30, and the likes. If you don't have the documents attached to your product, you would never know. Another case is the case of plant extracts. The technical sheets of this plant extracts, they break down the composition of what the extracts contain. If you are trying to produce, say, a 100% organic product, and your plant extract is preserved with, say, Gemal Plus, and you don't check, that product is no longer 100% organic because the preservative used already does not fall into that category of the things you should be using in your product. So please, you have every right to ask your supplier. If they are hesitant to give you, please run. Run and run very far. So thank you so much. That will be all. If you need to reach me, here is my detail. And I'll be more than happy to answer any and every question that you have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kike. People will feel like I'm biased towards cosmetic from Little Depot, but I don't know how I would have thrived in this country without cosmetic from Little Depot. And the best thing is that she can help you source your raw materials. That's very, very important. For example, she talked about silky earwax. There's this particular brand that I developed a formula for, and the silky earwax I used to develop the formula is the one that contains the Cetered 30. I do not buy silky earwax from any other person apart from cosmetic from Little Depot. And she already knows that if you're giving me silky earwax, it is the one that contains Cetered 30. And that's because the moment you give me the one that contains Cetered 20, it won't give me the same results. And then we'll start having issues, and then, oh, this batch is different from the other batch. And so it's very important that when you're buying from a supplier, you know exactly what it is that you're buying. I think I've done a live session several times on this. Learn physical chemical analysis, how to do physical chemical test, physical test. Use your nose, use your eyes, look at it. Kojic acid is crystalline. If they give you one that is matte, start looking at it. That's why I don't buy Giga White from Nigeria. In fact, I don't even use Giga White. But however, if you must use these things, take your time to, to vet these ingredients. It's very important. That way you're sure of what it is that you are buying. When you buy alpha hydroxyl acid, check it. Jota, they sell AHAs that have a pH of 11. I don't know how AHA is supposed to be alkaline, but if you do not check these things and you use them in your formulations, you will feel like there's something wrong by the time your formulation starts failing, and it will start to affect your confidence level. You feel like, oh, what is it? Why is my formulation failing? But most times it might just be from the raw material. So please, this session is a session that is really important to us as cosmetic formulators. And I don't know if it's still the black people I don't know if it's the mentality that we have. If somebody is not giving you the right documentation, did they tie your leg to the brand? Why must you still buy from there? Even if the person is talking ingredients that other brands do not, or other suppliers do not stock, that's enough reason for you to run. Because if the person is stocking such ingredients and can't even give you documentation, there's something fundamentally wrong. In China, every powder is white. How do you
It's a
know
white
which is
powder.
which? So you need to be very, very, I don't know. This is one part. This raw materials session is one part that I'm really, really passionate about, because I have been dealt with. You can ruin an entire batch because of bad raw materials. So please, if you have any questions, sorry, I've just gone, on and on, because raw material has dealt with me. So please, if you have any questions about raw materials, please drop it. Kike is here. She's going to answer. We have a few minutes to take questions. Do you have questions? Kike, they have got you. They said, why are you not displaying your ingredient on your wall? Ngwa.
Maybe like I could dodge this one. I'll do better. I'm sorry. Life happened and I just couldn't function right. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, sorry. She will do better. In fact, I will ensure she does better, because a lot of businesses, I will hound you, Kike. A lot of businesses are dependent on raw material, and the good thing is that she can also help you source. Okay, thank you. Bex the Bee says, my question is, why is there a constant difference in ingredients even when you buy it from the same vendor over and over again? Is it about the manufacturer or what?
Okay. So sometimes some ingredients from your supplier will tell you, oh, can arrive in flakes or pellets. So they will produce any type really. It's just what stock they have that you get. Another thing that can affect that is if the person buys from different countries. So one typical example is Lotion Pro. When I buy Lotion Pro from the US, it comes in pellet form. When I buy from the UK, it comes as flakes. The same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same company that supplies it actually, but the one in the UK arrives in flakes, and you just have to make do with whatever stock they have. It's not in all cases that it is a bad product you get. So that can happen. If you change supplier too, that can also happen. But I always say try to inform your customers that, oh, I changed supplier, or this thing you are buying is not going to look like the last one. So yes.
Mm-hmm. And also, please, again, read the documentation. For example, SCI, you'll see SCI that 65%, 85%, 80%.
Yeah.
And these things will give you different results when you're formulating with these ingredients. So please check your documents. And Begs the Bee says, I've had issues with surfactant. One time it strips and foams a lot, but another batch is mild and gentle. So, Kike, will you answer that? It might be in the active
And the same
surfactant matter,
supplier,
I think.
ASM has a big role to play there, but was it from the same supplier?
Begs to be,
Because
was it from the same supplier? I don't know if she can hear. Okay, if you have any more questions on ingredients, please remember that we'll have a very, she said yes, it was. So it's possible that the supplier sourced from different suppliers
same
to or
places, yeah,
manufacturers,
or bought a
yeah, and
different
or
product.
or the ASM. Exactly. So we will still have a session. Tomorrow's session will focus a lot on question and Q&A. So if you have any question that has been burning in your heart about cosmetic formulation, ingredients, and all of that, please make sure you drop tomorrow. Bring it. So Ifama says, is it possible that some essential oils can be stored in plastic?
From my
Kike, do
supplier,
you have an answer to that?
yes,
Can you hear? She said,
yes.
is it
When
possible that some essential oils can be stored in plastic?
the suppliers I use, when they supply you in plastic, they write it clearly, transfer. So that plastic is just for
Okay.
logistics. When you receive it, transfer.
If if someone says, I mean an essential oil that is a bit mild, are we
There's
talking
nothing like
about what's this
mild
popular
essential
essential
oil.
oils
Oh.
in Ojota? I'm not sure those. There's exactly. There's nothing like mild. That's how I think it might be this. There's this popular thing that this popular product that they call essential oils. I doubt that they are essential oils. I can't remember. They come in small
I think I
30
know the
ml.
brand bottles.
Yes, I think that's what a
Hemani or
lot of people
something.
sell as essential oils. Thank you.
Hemani oil or something.
Ifoma, please,
Yes.
are you referring to Hemani? I don't. Those are not essential oils. I don't know if that's the essential. I'm just asking. But there's nothing like mild essential oils. Essential oils are essential oils, and they
Yeah. The
talking
company
about
I buy
mild, they are
essential
constant.
oils from, if they don't have those canisters, you can actually pay extra to receive them in canisters. That was what I started doing. So we pay extra to receive
Okay,
them in the aluminum canister so that we don't have to start transferring anything. But yes, if they send to you in plastic, they'll tell you to transfer it.
okay. But your supplier, that's for people for you who stores and sells raw materials. For
Long-term storage,
suppliers who
yes.
sell yes, for suppliers who sell raw materials, do not buy essential oils that they stored in plastic bottles, please. Your essential oils should come in either the real bottles or the
Bottle of water.
canisters, please. Don't buy the ones that they stored in PET bottles, please. Okay, does anyone have any more questions? Any more questions, please? Okay, thank you so much, Kike. Um,
Thank you.
I don't think
And thank
I
you for
can't see
doing
any
this.
more questions here. Thank you. We're all in this
Right.
together. Thank you so much. All right then. Bye. Okay, so our next and last speaker of the day. Um but she's going to talk to us about formulating for hyperpigmentation. She owns Skin and Hair Manufacturing Hub. I'm going to add her on stage right now. Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me? I'm not sure.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So,
Oops.
welcome. I'll just exit the stage and have you take over.
Okay. Um,
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome today. Thank you, Somi, for having me. Um, Sorry, it's taking a bit of time to come up. Are we there? Somi, is this you? Somi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, I forgot I put myself on mute. Can you see the slides?
Yeah, I
You want to
can.
upload it from your phone?
No, that's
Okay.
fine. Since you've put it up on there. Okay.
Okay.
That's fine. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. So today we'll be talking about formulating for hyperpigmentation in skin of color. This is a very broad topic, so I'll be doing my best to condense it to 15 minutes, but by no means it's not exhaustive. So let's, show me next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so I've tried to narrow it down to just four headlines. So what is hyperpigmentation? Formulating for black skin guidelines, building strong skin, and then reducing pigmentation. Okay. What is hyperpigmentation? Just in a very basic term, it's a condition that occurs when there's pigmentation in the skin and the skin becomes uneven due to the production of excess melanin. And melanin is the pigment responsible for the color of the skin.
So if someone just if somebody comes, approaches you, for example, to say, oh, I'm suffering from uneven skin tone, black spots and things. I've used different things and it's not helping. There are basic guidelines to start off with formulating for black skin. I'd just like to say that even though that ethnic cosmetics is still very studied, the manufacturers actually do not have a lot of tests run on black skin. So they mostly run it on Caucasian, so that's white skin, and very recently on Asian skin. So at best, we black formulators are trying to extrapolate. However, you do find some companies now, it's something that they're beginning to do now to start making conscious effort to test on black skin. So even though that is the case and we're expected to, we try to extrapolate. The reason I'm saying it is it's also good not to go overboard with that, always stay within the recommended usage. It's better to play safe. So the first thing you do is just to ask questions, because there's no need, trying to help solve a problem without actually understanding, the trigger or understanding the person's skin health, because there may be different underlying conditions. The person may be pregnant, the person may be taking a medication, the person may be going through a lot of stress and stuff like that. And that is what is the trigger. Or the person currently has acne or is an acne sufferer from time to time. And if you just go and give them something that isn't suitable or targeted from their skin, your effort is wasted and it will come back, oh, the products you've given me isn't working. So it's important, very important, that you ask those questions first to understand the trigger of that hyperpigmentation and then try to solve that trigger if you can, if it's within your remit. If it's not within your remit, if it becomes a medical condition, because there's a thin line between medicine and cosmetics, I urge you to please refer them, to the right person to deal with them, and then they can come back for something topical, which is what we do. When you've established the reason or the causes for that hyperpigmentation, and then you're able to do something for them, regardless of whatever skin type it is or anything, the next thing will be to build a strong skin for that person. By that, I mean like a simple skincare routine. Don't overload it, because we're saying hyperpigmentation and you feel that there's a need to overload it. There's the popular saying that less is more. Try and keep it simple, to build this skincare routine for them. I'm going to walk you through that in the next slide. And then the next thing after the building a strong skin, when you've established a skincare routine, it will be actually now to reduce that, pigmentation. And when treating pigmentation, there are three main pathways, which is to regulate and suppress the enzymes that release that pigmentation to the surface of the skin. The second thing is cell turnover, which is to reduce, exfoliate the existing pigmentation, because it's pointless trying to regulate that enzyme if we're not doing cell turnover. By that, reducing or exfoliating your skin is complete waste of time, because if the person has dead skin on their skin and you keep applying products on it, it's in vain. So it's important we do that. And the third thing is protection, sunscreen. I know that we are very blessed people, we've got great skin, we've got all of that. There's the popular saying that, black skin don't crack and the rest of it, which is true to an extent. But black skin, when not taken care of, we show the same signs. Caucasian skin may show lines and wrinkles before us, doesn't mean that we don't age and have all of that. So we need to use, and sunscreen is important. And then the lifestyle choices. There's no need not maintaining or living a healthy lifestyle and then wanting to treat or, help your condition. There's really no need, whether it's hyperpigmentation or anything else, So they go hand in hand. So you need to be able to do these three things to be able to achieve a good result. So next slide, please. Thank you. So, I said the second step was to build a strong skin, and which is just a basic skincare routine. So the first thing, of course, is cleansing. It's very important. but we just won't give any cleanser, whatever, cleansing milk, cleansing oil. You need to target this cleansing to the skin type in question. Then try and use a toner, an essence. There's the school of thought that it's not important. For me, I feel it's important. Because when you cleanse the skin, the toner brings it back, normalizes your pH. And it also has, if it's an essence, it also has some very nice benefits of hydrating ingredients, and depends on how it's formulated. Serum, it's advisable to have 2, a day and a night. The day will be the antioxidant serum that the client will be using, which is filled with the antioxidant to protect our skin while we're out and about, and of course hydrate the skin. And then at night, the person would use the pigmentation serum, which will do the hard work. And then you have the moisturizer, and again, the sunscreen. Like I said before, it's very important. UVA, UVB is one of the direct causes of hyperpigmentation. In fact, if you're not even doing anything and you do sunscreen, you can be rest assured that a lot of at least you will stop having the hyperpigmentation continually, at least to a largest, to some good extent. So thank you. So this is now the last step, which is the reduced pigmentation. And remember I said that you have the different pathways. So the first set of things, which is the ingredients where we are using to manufacture this pigmentation product, be it a serum, cream, whatever. These are what they are. They're called tyrosinase inhibitors. I've put a number of ingredients on here. It's not an exhaustive list, but they're just there, so that you can look into them. Always know that there are loads of ingredients in the market and still being brought out. So a good thing for every formulator is to continually research. So we've got kojic, abutin, resorcinol. Resorcinol has different variants. So we've got the MBR, which other one? The hexaresorcinol, and then the sim white. We've got niacinamide, tranexamic acid. I've put the devil here, which is HQ, but it's still the gold standard regardless. Most derms would always use that. Cysteamine, timidol. Timidol is a patented one with Eucerin, but I've started seeing it available. I think I saw it in Thailand, and it's quite effective. We've got PAD, gallic acid, vitamin C. There are different types of vitamin C again. So it's also important to understand the skin type of the person that you're creating this product for. So we've got SAP, we've got ascorbic tetraisopalmitic, licorice acid, and there's so many more. And then we have the cell turnover stimulation ingredients. Here we've got glycolic, mandelic, lactic, retinoid, and the peel with an approved esthetician. Yes, it's also said that glycolic is not good for black skin. And the reason why they say that is because we're prone to browning very easily. And glycolic is the one that has a very small molecule of the alpha hydroxy acid, and it penetrates very quicker. But then it's very effective. They should learn to create a sweet point. Use it at the right pH. Combine it with the right other ingredients, and it's not for continuous use. But when you get glycolic at the sweet point, it's a very good ingredient. Start low. Don't go and be aggressive and start with a 10 or 20% if it's something that you're not conversant with. Before you dabble into glycolic, make sure it's something that you can use. We have different ones. We have the 70% and 99% one. If you're new to using glycolic, I recommend that you use 70%. And like I said, play it safe. Mandelic is a good one because it has a larger molecule and is suitable for our skin. It works, it's good, but it's very subtle. And it works over time. Then we've got the lactic acid and the retinoid, which is a buzzword all over the place now. There are different variants of retinoid as well. Then we have the other class, which is the antioxidants, which are the vitamin C's, CoQ10, ferulic acid, polyphenols. This is an umbrella term for plant extracts. So we've got the green tea extract, pomegranate extracts, and lots more. It's also very advisable when you create this product, right? be it serum, moisturizer, to put skin resilient ingredients that will support the barrier. Remember that your client already has hyperpigmentation, right? So you need to be able to include something that will support a strong barrier. Those things like ceramides. There are different variants of ceramides. You don't have to, you consider cost as well. If you can get the over the top, good. If you can't get those ones, that's also good. They all work. I've used all of them and they work. There's the hyaluronic acid, which plumps the skin, and of course, make it a good habit to include skin hydrators. Basic ones like even glycerin, propanediol, betaine, and some companies now have moisture complexes, which is a combination of different ones, which is also very good. And the last thing again is protect your skin. SPF again. It's also very important and very key. I haven't put it here, but just to put it out there. When you're combining this ingredients, please make sure that you're looking at the pH of each of the ingredients that you're combining. It wouldn't make any sense at all to be using, for example, glycolic and an NBR in a product, because it's waste of your money and it's not going to be effective, because glycolic works at a good pH of 3.5, whilst NBR works at a pH of above 6. So it's counter-effective. There's really no need for it. So it's important to be able to look at the ingredients that you're pairing together. Do they sit together? Are they known incompatibilities? Like Kike mentioned, she offers sheets, and I was very happy to hear that. You can also ask them, are they known issues with this? Would they play with the functional ingredients, the gums, the emulsifiers that you use, so that you make sure that at the end of the day, you have a well-rounded product that you've created. Next slide, please. And then, so that's basically it. But one thing I like to say finally before I give back the mic to Sumi is that the goal here is to be formulating to achieve a great skin health, right? Hyperpigmentation, because I mentioned it's something very common with us Black people, because we are prone to browning easily. And we are faced with daily life challenges, be it stress, be it worry, whatever, school fees, anything. And when all of these things come out, pregnancy, you have your, an issue, you break out, you have the browning and all of that. So it's a continuous process for us as we age or climb up the ladder. So the main thing here, the goal here, is to formulate to achieve great health, skin health. Advise your clients that, and that their lifestyle also has a massive impact on the quality of skin. If you're an alcoholic and you drink 24 hours a day, there's just no chance, you're going to maintain a great skin health. And lastly, skin does change. You wouldn't expect that my 15-year-old Anne will be the same in almost 50 years. That's not possible. So it's, just accept where you are, understand your skin, have a great skin routine, protect that skin. And also, like I said, it takes time to clear pigmentation. It's a process. It takes time. It takes patience. And when you put all of this into perspective and advise them, then yes, it would work. And I think that's it for me. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Formulating for hyperpigmentation is one topic that I really like to talk about, because I also find that there's a thin line between people bleaching their skin and so a lot of people come to deal with hyperpigmentation, but they end up getting products that will, bleach their skin. And so it's important that formulators learn, how formulate specifically to deal with hyperpigmentation. So even though you're going to be using tyrosinase inhibitors and ingredients, that have skin lightening properties, I want to also mention that these ingredients that were mentioned will not bleach your skin. They will not make a Wande Cole to become a Mona Lisa Chinda. They will just deal with the skin issues. And also, and also, it's also important to note that because we are people of color, our melanocytes are very active. So when dealing with hyperpigmentation, it's also a thin line. You may want to be also very careful when formulating so that you do not make products that will end up making the hyperpigmentation worse. So most times it's caused by an inflammation, and so you want to also reduce that inflammation. So, for example, when we say cell turnover, we talked about glycolic acid. You also want to be very careful because you don't want to do something that will trigger inflammation and then worsen the hyperpigmentation. So please, does anybody have questions? Thank you so much, ma'am. Does anybody have questions? Any questions on hyperpigmentation, formulating for hyperpigmentation? It would be nice that if you have any questions, please feel free to put that in the comment section. Any questions about formulating with for hyperpigmentation, please feel free to drop it. And also pay attention to the concentration of ingredients, please. Less is more, like she said, less is more. Don't go and add every ingredient. And also look for ingredients that work in synergy. It's also very important. There are different pathways of melanin production. You want to work with ingredients that potentiate each other. So please, any questions? Any questions, please, on hyperpigmentation? Okay. I don't see any. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. So, if you have any questions on hyperpigmentation, you can also note it down. We'll treat it. We'll deal with it in depth tomorrow on the Q&A session. So thank you so much, ma'am. We really enjoyed this session. Thank you. Okay, somebody asked a question. How can we tell a pigmentation that's deeper than topical products can handle? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. So that's where,
Okay.
where I said you asked questions, right? So you need to understand where the person is at that point in time. What's causing it? Do you understand? There's always a trigger to this. Do you understand? If you're an
Yeah.
acne sufferer, for example, I just use that all the time because, like you mentioned, inflammation. Do you understand? If you're an acne
Mm-hmm.
sufferer, then yes, you know that it's acne, and then you have to make sure you deal with that acne first. Do you understand? Because it's going to keep
Yes, the
recurring.
root cause.
Yeah. So the most important thing is you have to understand where the person is coming from. If it's something that has just come up suddenly, like hormones as well. Do you understand? Those kind of
Mm-hmm.
things, yes. But the key to it is understanding what the person's trigger is and then solving that trigger before we begin to do the pigmentation. If the person does have some people say, oh, I've used this product, those kind of things. It's happening
Yeah.
for me using different things and all of that. The advice is stop all of it. Just allow your skin to breathe. Do you understand? Just use basic things.
Yeah.
Put the barrier first of all. If that is not helping, then see a derm or chisor or
Uh,
whoever. Yeah.
oh, aesthetician. Halima,
Halima.
esthetician, I think.
This,
Okay, so someone says, for example, neck pigmentation. I read that it could be a medical issue because most times the clients don't really know. I think that's where if you see a dermatologist or an esthetician, they'll be able to decipher the exact pigmentation and let you know
exactly.
what to do.
Exactly.
So
And
it's
please
important
let's
that
not let's not treat let's not treat. And also, I think I
exactly.
forgot to also mention something. There is no one size fits all in hyperpigmentation. You won't take Somi's case. Somi is and has something burning in the oven at the minute, and then you just give her the same thing that you give me that there's nothing. Do you see what I mean? Because simi is
Yeah.
happening because of a reason. So there's no one size fits all. So you have to do it case by case, basis.
Yeah. Thank you so much for mentioning that. For people who now sell retinol products and you don't even take time to ask, and you just sell retinol, you don't ask the person, no consultation, nothing, and you just give. Not everyone can use retinol. It's important that we know this. And I find that we just join the bandwagon. What's the ingredient that is working? Everybody just jumps on that ingredient. No size fits all. You need to know what you're formulating for. There's melasma, there's age spots, there's PIH. There are different types of hyperpigmentation. And then ochronosis, that one you can't even go close to it. Just send them sharply to an esthetician. Somebody says, can someone have dark knuckles, which is not a reaction to topical products? I have a friend that claims that her dark knuckles come and go randomly.
That's true, correct, 100%. Some people are
Okay.
born like that. Some people are just have darker, parts of their body. Do you understand? Like that. Some people, just like peeling of skin.
Mm-hmm.
Like my sister, uh, when she was much younger, her skin used to peel a lot. And, my mom would take her
Mm-hmm.
to the hospital and come, and they said, don't worry, she'll outgrow it, and she's fine now. Do you understand? So it just depends. Some
Oh,
people are born,
yeah.
but some people do get it from product or hard water. People that work in hospitals, like nurses or things, do you understand, are constantly washing their
Yeah.
hands? That, yes.
Okay. So, if I'm dear, you have the answer to your questions. It's possible that it's not a reaction to topical products. And sometimes your knuckles are just slightly darker because they are there to protect that part of our, is this skin or something, like the friction. So sometimes you find that your knuckles can be darker, right? It's not necessarily um due to topical product.
We Africans, that we like to knock our children on our heads with our knuckles.
Yeah. There are so many things that can cause that for the legs, you shoe that you wear, using harsh detergents, like you said, not washing your hands often, not moisturizing. There are so many things that can cause dark knuckles. And sometimes when you even see the people complain about dark knuckles, the knuckles might not be that dark, just slightly darker. I think sometimes we should just learn to accept our skin for our, of course, if it's bad, then maybe you want to start looking for what to do. But most times in healthy skin, it might just be slightly darker. And I don't think there's an issue. We just moisturize your skin and leave it so that we don't start looking for what's not lost. And then you start treating it, and a lot of people, well, some people will give you pills, and then it gets worse. It's just sometimes it's best you just moisturize and let your skin be. Okay, does anyone any more questions, please? Okay, I don't see any questions. Again, thank you so much, ma'am. I thoroughly enjoyed this session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right then. So, we finally come to the end of today's session. Thank you everyone for joining. We're supposed to have breaks, but for some reason we're not able to have we didn't have any break, and I'm happy. I'm glad that a lot of people stayed till the end. Thank you so much. Tomorrow promises to be very much exciting. If you have questions, please collate your questions. Tomorrow we'll have question and answer sessions. Tomorrow we'll have roundtable discussions on different topics, bordering around cosmetic formulation. So tomorrow promises to be really impactful, and I enjoyed the sessions, all the speakers. I enjoyed the whole topic, all the topics that were talked about today. So thank you everyone for joining us. Um, if you haven't registered, the reason we say register is so that you have first-hand information. Just click the YouTube link, click the Facebook link, our Instagram pages, and then you can access the summit from there. The reason we did this multi-platform is so that everybody will have access. So whatever platform you're comfortable with, you can watch the summit from there. So again, thank you everyone. If you have questions, feel free to collate them. You can send it in. You can send them to me via DM. I may not respond, but I would may be able to, because I can't respond to everyone, but I will try to collate the questions. And if you've registered, there's a column there that where we stated that you put your formulation questions. So we've seen your formulation questions and you'll get answers tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.